New Orleans at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and this was from last night's rehearsal. The cast includes Trisha Yearwood, Chris Daughtry, and Seal. Hollywood known for special effects and dazzling stretches of imagination, but nothing can beat the simple truths found in opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, would you please rise and remove your hats as cast members of the final season of American Idol perform God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Please remain standing as the California Army National Guard Color Guard present our nation's colors. And now we invite you to bow your heads as official chaplain of the Auto Club Speedway, Jeff Hamilton, offers today's invocation.
Let's pray together. Dear Heavenly Father, we begin today by taking a moment to say thanks for our loved ones and our friends, even for the way that you work in our lives when we don't even recognize it. Thank you for your grace that covers us and your love that sustains us. We thank you for today's event that we get to enjoy and for the sponsors and staff who've made it possible. We thank you for the drivers and teams and ask that you protect them during today's race. We thank you for the men and women who defend freedom around the world and the first responders who protect us here at home. We have so much to be thankful for, and in moments like these, we remember it's all because of you. In Christ's name, amen.
Here to perform America with the singing of our national anthem, please welcome from the San Diego-based band Switchfoot, John Foreman.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed in the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
We've had 4 different winners in the first 4 races. The 5th race of the 36 NASCAR Sprint Cup race season is straight ahead. It's been an exciting and historic season so far. Michael back in the Hollywood Hotel from the grid walk. We were just outside. The track temperature over 115 degrees. Outside for the fans, 70 degrees. But it's going to be the hottest on track for a race this year.
Yeah, and I think a guy like Brad Keselowski can adapt to these conditions as well as anyone. You take his ability to communicate with his crew chief and then them talk about what it's going to take to get better and better throughout the race. You're really going to have to adapt and adjust, Chris, because the track temperatures are hotter than they've been all weekend.
Yeah, Joey Logano, his Penske teammate in a Ford, will start 9th, almost won here. Has had a top 5 this year.
Yeah, he railed off 3 in a row last fall, so this team is ready to win again. They showed a lot of speed at Las Vegas, remember that.
And Denny Hamlin, a guy who mixed it up with Logano and has said this is a track on his checklist he would like to check off. Right now, let's head back trackside for the command.
Race fans, it's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome your Grand Marshal, star of TNT's hit show, The Last Ship, coming back to TV this summer, Eric Dane.
Thank you. First, I'd like to take the opportunity to acknowledge and thank the men and women who are serving this great country overseas. Now, drivers, start your engines!
Engines fired, energy up. This is the one time in California where the traffic is a good thing and a televised car chase is legal. The average margin of victory this season, just 0.2 of a second. And Mike, I know we're expecting another fantastic finish today.
Of course we are, Chris. 2 great side-by-side finishes. Last lap passes have been a hallmark of this racetrack. Its last 3 races have been decided by a last lap pass, as have 4 of the last 5. This is a big, wide, fast speedway, Jeff. What makes it so racy and gives us those fantastic finishes?
Well, you mentioned how wide it is, so these restarts, they just fan out 5 wide, but it's also a very abrasive racetrack, so there's some teams that have a car and a driver that is good at the beginning of a run, but maybe not the end of the run, and others have the exact opposite, not to mention those pit stops and pit strategy with tires at the end of this race.
Well, when this track was built, we raced 500 miles here. Now the distance is 400 miles, a greater sense of urgency. Darrell, what do you have to do to put yourself in a position to be part of that fantastic finish?
It just appears to me I'd like to be second. And I'll tell you what, I want to keep that guy in front of me guessing. This thing is big and wide. You can only block me so many times, and I'm going to find a way around you. And then off at turn 4, it's a drag race to the start-finish line. That's what makes this place so much fun and so exciting.
It is going to be quite a race today. We're proud to be in Southern California for the final event of the West Coast Swing, a little far from Manhattan Beach there, but we're enjoying the California sun and, as Chris pointed out, the traffic jam to follow.
It's time for the epic battle to begin. The biggest names in racing are ready to clash.
It's good versus evil. Amazing versus somewhat mediocre. Handsome versus ugly.
Ugly? Wait a second. Who's good and who's evil here?
The Auto Club 400 right here on Fox.
It's the Man of Steel versus the Dark Knight and 37 other of the best drivers in America. From Auto Club Speedway, it's the Auto Club 400 on Fox. They're on the first of 3 pace laps. Let's have a look at the Geico starting grid today. Austin Dillon has his 2nd career pole. Kevin Harvick, the winner here in 2001, a pair of Chevys on the front row. Denny Hamlin set the track record in qualifying Friday. Ryan Newman, top 10 in 5 of his last 6 here. Carl Edwards, the 2008 winner. And Kyle Busch, who won his last 2 starts here, but was not in this race last year due to injury. Trevor Bayne has his best start in Southern California, and rookie Chase Elliott coming off his 2nd top 10 of the year. And the top 10 rounded out by Joey Logano, whose best finish here 3rd in 2013. And Jamie McMurray makes his 3rd top 10 start of 2016.
Pit road speed right there, 4,000.
Hey, Austin Dillon, it's Jeff Gordon up at the Fox booth. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good. I definitely like this view.
Yeah, you got an excellent view. Hey, you got a fast race car. As you said, you're on the pole today, and you won the Xfinity race yesterday. How do you complete the sweep today?
Got to stay focused, work hard all day, be flawless, man. Hopefully we can do a good job of making no mistakes and as a team get to victory lane.
All right, Austin, we're going to talk to Slugger. Slugger, you there, buddy?
10-4, Daryl.
Hey, man, you've won the Brickyard, you've won Daytona 500, and it looks to me like you guys are pretty close to winning yourself a race this year. What has made the difference this year, Slugger?
Well, the biggest thing to me, Austin, he's really stepped up. He's become a leader of our race team and just really focused and committed to what we're doing. He believes in what we apply to the race cars every week, and he never really doubts us. So just the whole team is behind him, and he's behind us. So it just right now it's clicking. Things are going good, but main goal today is to get the number 3 back to victory lane.
All right, buddy. Thank you for talking to us, and good luck. You guys are doing an awesome job. Fun to watch.
10-4, thank you.
There are hundreds of people here wearing Superman capes and Batman suits. One of them, however, none of them are our intrepid pit reporters who will be bringing us the stories from pit road. Let's begin with Jamie Little.
Well, Kurt Busch is starting in the back. After getting into the turn 3 wall in practice on Saturday, he's forced to a backup car. I talked to his crew chief, Tony Gibson, and he said they really relied on their teammate Kevin Harvick for this setup. He said you couldn't get 2 cars more similar, and that's a great thing because it looks like Kevin Harvick is the man to beat. And on a side note, the last time Kurt Busch went to a backup car, it was at Michigan last year, this sister track to this place. He won the race. Matt Yoakum?
Jamie, strong cars, but unable to capitalize. That's been the theme for Denny Hamlin over the past 4 races here at Auto Club Speedway. Everyone would love to own his stat of average start of 2.5, but whether it's self-inflicted on the racetrack or here on pit lane like last year, Denny Hamlin hasn't been able to capitalize. His average finisher in that span of 28. Now, they focused on free on entry. He doesn't like a loose race car, but they feel like they've dialed it in. His best finish here is 3rd. Chris Neville, that's where he starts today.
Well, Matt, crew chief Cole Pern back on the pit box for the 78 after 1 week suspension. And now he's at a racetrack where Martin Truex Jr. has yet to finish a top 5, but that should all change this weekend. Martin said he had a car in qualifying. He should have got the pole. It's just he messed up in the 2nd round. He's starting mid-pack, but he says, I'm confident in the race pace. And with so many grooves out there, it won't be long before I'm at the front. Larry?
Chris, it's going to be one of those races where there are a lot of trips to pit road. Every time that caution flag waves, you're going to want 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Now let's take a look at our race analysis. 200 laps, 400 miles, pit road speed 55 miles per hour, the fuel window 40 to 44 laps, and my grip level is a 1. 5 being the greatest amount of grip, 1 being the least amount. Now these are the 2 cars going to the rear. Kurt Busch for a backup car, AJ Allmendinger for changing a gear. Now let's take a look at the grip level. This is samples of the racetrack courtesy of Goodyear. On the left is Phoenix, where we were last week, a 4, and on the right a 1, Auto Club Speedway. Mike, you have to think about it like the coarse part of a cheese grater or an 80 grit piece of sandpaper here at Auto Club.
pretty gnarly, as they say down in Manhattan Beach. Here's a little audio from Jimmy Johnson.
Folks, that is awesome. It's a bird, it's a plane. What's the word? Word is you look beautiful up there, man. Can you see me? Man, that was great. Look at you. Look at you up there.
Earl Barban, the spotter. Big Earl. Do it, dude.
Earl is a ham first class, but there's a lot of people walking around here in Superman capes or Batman suits, all playing into the Superman v Batman theme that we'll revisit throughout the race. The 2016 Toyota Camry XSE leads the field, and at the wheel is Fox NFL commentator John Lynch, who retired in 08, won the Super Bowl in 02 with the Tampa Bay Bucks, 9-time Pro Bowl selection in the 15 years that he played in the NFL, and he makes the hard left turn to pit road. The crowd's on its feet.
Yes, they are, and they are excited. It's a pumped up place today, I tell you that. Hold them back, flagman. Hold them, hold them. Green flags in the air. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go California dreaming, boys and girls.
Four abreast off turn 2. Pole sitter Austin Dillon elected the outside. Kevin Harvick got the best of him in the run to turn 1.
And Kyle Busch went all the way to the top, just like we love to see him do. Fanned up there and made a great move and had big momentum down the back straightaway. You see sparks already flying off of his car.
Yeah, I think the worst thing that the rest of the field could see is the guy leading the race right now, because he had the best car in practice and he's got the lead.
And
Kevin Harvick.
You'll see that will happen on the short runs here at the beginning of this race. The high line might be the preferred line through 1 and 2 for a little bit, but then the bottom line in 3 and 4 will be the preferred line. That's why they'll jockey for position here at the beginning.
Yeah, you'll actually get out on that apron getting into turn 3 over there. There's some grip down low there.
Carl Edwards, one of the strongest cars in practice in the 19, battling pole sitter Austin Dillon and Ryan Newman, the 31. A couple of those Richard Childress cars, all three of them very strong in practice and qualifying.
I agree, Mike. I think the Childress bunch is looking good this weekend with Austin on the pole and Newman running well. Menard's running pretty darn good. They got those cars really hooked up this week.
Yeah, but they've got their hands full with those JGR cars right now.
Well, that's every week. You know, you're just gonna have to beat those Toyotas and Gibbs every week.
And to me, here at California Auto Club Speedway, this is the ultimate display of horsepower, aerodynamics, driving skill, tires, and fall off. And you see it all here. It's such a big, fast racetrack.
Yeah, Mike, when we show the in-car cameras, you look how hard the drivers are working at this track.
One thing you see is that big blue outside retaining wall. Chase Elliott may have gotten a little too close to it.
I just lost that right rear there. Got to strike the wall. Okay, we'll look out of here.
I love the calmness of the crew chief. Okay, we'll take a look at it.
These are some of the warmest temperatures this track has seen. They're 4 wide right here.
And Chase right in the middle. 2 rookies in the midst of 2 veterans. The 24, Elliott, the 21, Blaney, and Brad Keselowski and Jamie McMurray just swarmed right around him.
And that's exactly what this racetrack offers. It's so awesome, the racing that we see. All different kinds of crews down on the apron, no white line. 3 lanes up, all the way to the blue, to the wall, the blue fence up high. I mean, this track just offers some amazing racing.
Jeff, you just kind of want to go where they're not. If everybody's going to run the top, maybe I can get my deal. Maybe I can get my car to work around the bottom.
At many racetracks, there's a sharp transition from the apron where that white line is to the racetrack. But here, it doesn't look like it bothers these cars.
It does. It really upsets the cars, but there's so much grip down there with the left side tires that if you hook it, the grip level makes up for the transition being abrupt.
You think it's any coincidence that the guys that ran first and second last week are about ready to challenge each other again today?
Isn't that how it works, DW?
That's how it goes, isn't it? It always works that way. And I'm after you today, brother.
I'm impressed with Carl Edwards here.
Wow,
I thought when Kevin Harvick
too.
got the lead, these guys were in trouble.
Picking up just where we left off in a photo finish in Phoenix. Harvick Chevrolet and Edwards Toyota. Third, Austin Dillon, Denny Hamlin. Also just as close.
And you know, Carl Edwards, he ran that lap 3 wide, as we see here, between teammates.
3 Fords.
3 Fords. but you know that Carl Edwards ran through his mind over and over and over that final lap and that final corner at Phoenix, and he wants to have another shot at it.
Yeah, you know, it was one of those shoulda, woulda, couldas.
Denny Hamlin gets the best of Austin Dillon for now and moves his Toyota into third.
One of the things that's impressed me about the 3-car pole sitter Austin Dillon is when they qualify well, they don't just qualify well and then fall back through the field. They hang around the top 5 or 6 there all day long. That's what's really been good for them this year.
And you know, we heard from Larry McReynolds talk about the grip level being a 1. And for one lap on new tires, there's actually a lot of grip here. That grip level might be a 3 or a 4. But as soon as you get a couple laps on the tires, it goes down to a 1, just like Larry McReynolds was talking about.
Chase Elliott battling Jamie McMurray for 12th. Matt, are they concerned about him having scraped the wall?
They talked about it, and they have put it behind them at this junction, Mike. But when you look at that 24, one area that Chase wanted to improve on, knowing 2, 3, 4 wide is the norm here at Auto Cup Speedway, he changed the mirror this morning inside his race car. A longer mirror, but it also has a curve. He said he did not visually have the comfort on the right rear corner of the car with the old mirror. He feels like this will help him and utilize it in short track racing as well as Xfinity. I'm not sure what it is about the guys, whether they're old or new, in that 24. They like to adjust the mirrors.
And Mike, the right side of these cars is so critical for side force. You need that here.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming up on the 41 of Kurt Busch.
Whoa, and he's coming up on him too. Man, that looked like what happened to Greg Biffle.
That's a pretty heavy damage to the right rear quarter
panel
on that 41.
Jamie?
Well, Kurt Busch has made up a lot of ground since starting 38th, but unfortunately he says he has a tire rub now. You could see it there. He's talking about the smoke in the cockpit, and he said he's coming to pit road. The guys are ready. Unfortunate for Kurt Busch.
And that's that critical area I was referring to. That right side, that rear quarter panel and all, that's where you get all your side force from. You damage that, you can't drive your car.
And also, that's the difference between being on the bottom groove and the high groove, and the momentum that comes off that top groove, and the closing rate is huge. And we saw that with Dale Earnhardt Jr. He just had so much momentum, he couldn't even slow down fast enough as Kurt Busch slid up in front of him.
I really think what happened, I think Kurt may have even had to get out of the gas a little bit, and then Jr. just plowed into him.
Looked a lot like the practice crash between Greg Biffle and Kyle Larson.
Same thing.
We'll show you that one. That's earlier this weekend. Larson got very loose.
One on the bottom, one on the top. And you see the 42 of Larson get loose. Biffle had new tires, closing at a high rate of speed, ran right in the back of it.
And as you mentioned, DW, that we think Kurt Busch did, Kyle Larson bailed out of the throttle, and Biffle just had nowhere to go.
There's Kyle Larson running 28th ahead of Brian Scott and Kurt Busch. Kevin Harvick has led every one of 10 laps so far. Carl Edwards 3/4 of a second back. 13 laps complete. Kevin Harvick trying to drive off into his own area code. Let's have a look at today's Ford Performance Track Facts. Brad Keselowski, winner here in a Ford last year. First win at Auto Club Speedway for Team Penske since 2001. It was Roger Penske's company that built this speedway. And Ford has won an Auto Club race in 7 straight seasons, 2003 to 2009.
I think one of the funniest things I heard was Brad Keselowski last year after the race on his cool down lap. He told Walton Zarnicki, the spotter, I want to meet the guy that paved this track, because I think he did it backwards. And Walton Zarnicki came on the radio and said, I think I can arrange that for you. It was Roger Penske and his crowd that did that.
That's right. There might be an issue on Dale Earnhardt Jr. Currently 27th. Let's have a look at Jr. in our nationwide performance report. Matt?
Mike, it's been more like issues for Dale Earnhardt Jr. He was concerned most recently about a possible tire rub, both on the left front and the right front. Earlier on, he could not hear his spotter, TJ Majors. They had to swap around frequencies so that he could hear TJ much more clear. Now his biggest issue is his track position. He's running inside, barely the top 30 with a very tight race car.
Trying to hang on to that first pit stop and make some changes.
He's had an interesting weekend.
Oh, boy, he has.
I mean, we saw them struggle at Phoenix, but they rebounded very well in the race. This weekend also has been very challenging for them, but they don't seem to be rebounding like they did last week.
Martin Truex Jr. just took 5th place. Kurt Busch is in. Jamie?
And he lost quite a few positions. He decided to stay out because the smoke had gone away, but it didn't get any better. You see him working on that right rear. Remember, this is a backup car the team has been working on. So some issues for them early on. They're going to put the tire on and get back out there.
Yeah, Mike, congratulations to his car owner. What a great run they had in the F1 race this morning.
Martin Truex keeps coming. He just went by Kyle Busch for 4th place, Chris.
Yeah, he's charging to the front. Very happy with his race car. They've had good speed all this year. And talking with Cole Pern, he said one of the big places we needed to improve this year was on pit lane. And most of the pit crew now comes from Joe Gibbs Racing. Looking at their stats last year, they lost 110 positions over the course of the year during green flag stops. That averages out to about 3 a race. So far this year, they've got a net gain of 2.
He is one of our Auto Club biggest movers in this race. 17 laps complete so far. Allmendinger up 14 spots. Truex 11, Matt Kenseth 10.
Oh, I really like the way this car looks. Look at how it just glides over those bumps. He's able to run about anywhere on the racetrack, but he's one of the few cars that's actually making the bottom work down here in 3 and 4. And that's a good sign for how well his car is working.
Oh, yeah, he's about a mover, boys.
The engineering staff at the track for that team is a real League of Nations. One engineer is from London, Ontario. One is from the United States, I think Nebraska, and 2 from Australia.
Who's the interpreter?
Cole Perrin.
Cole is.
Well, and I think that goes to show you how Cole is really focused on engineering and how the sport's evolving. But his focus on that, he's surrounding himself with engineers that have the great ability to think about aerodynamics, to think about all the things that can go into these cars in a whole different view.
It doesn't hurt that they've got hooked up with that Joe Gibbs crowd either. There's a lot of good information there, too.
The Batmobile battles Danica Patrick for 26th.
You're watching Fox NASCAR.
The Auto Club 400 is sponsored by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Goodyear, tires chosen by experts for superior performance. Goodyear, more driven.
23 laps complete. Kurt and Kyle Busch hold a NASCAR record. Consecutive top 10 finishes by brothers. Both of them have been top 10 the last 7 races going back into last season. Both of them have made unscheduled pit stops today. Kurt earlier, he's lost 2 laps, and Kyle was just in while we were away and lost a lap. Here's why.
I got a tire problem or something. I mean, this thing is sideways. It is 7 degrees of yaw all the way through 3 and 4. I am wrecking.
I think I remember, didn't 18 have a tire problem in practice? I think it was a left rear they said was possibly having a problem.
Tire down on Brian Vickers, number 14.
Ooh,
Smoke
that's
fills
serious.
the cockpit as he tries to work around to pit road. Down on the apron in turn 4.
Those tires come apart, Mike, and they rip the whole back of the car off.
Hey guys, going through the garage area this morning, there was a concern of this because Goodyear tells these teams do not go lower than about 18 to 19 PSI on the left sides. I know for a fact there were teams down around 13 or 14. Add the camber they run for handling, this leads to an issue 25 laps into a run.
Jamie?
Brian Vickers was just wondering why NASCAR wasn't throwing a caution. He noted there's a lot of debris out there, saying his car was just loose off and tight in the middle. Not sure exactly what led to the tire being cut.
Well, we can see a lot of damage down the right side sheet metal. He got up and into the wall and makes this unscheduled stop. Chris?
Well, Mike, we heard Kyle Busch complaining about how loose his race car was. That started about 8 laps ago. Finally, he got a little bit into the wall, said he had to come to pit lane because he was wrecking loose. But I did take a look at the tires. The tires look good. They were having issues in practice, though.
Now rookie Chris Buescher has been up in the wall in turn 2.
It's on TV right now. Caution is out.
First caution of the day at lap 27. Buescher was running 17th.
Great break for the 18 car, Kyle Busch, because he had just gotten by our leader, Kevin Harvick, so that'll get him caught back up.
Left rear tire apparently on Chris Buescher's car.
I just saw the 11 go by with right side damage. Boy, these guys got their hands full around this place. You can see where the 11's been into the wall, got some damage on the right rear there.
DW, what I'm trying to figure out is the damage from the tire going down and they're getting in the wall, or are they getting in the wall and causing the tire to go down?
I would guess that it's the tire going down first, because we've had too many cars here with some sort of what seems to be a tire problem.
Now, was that 11 able to stay on the lead lap there?
I'm not sure, buddy.
Yes,
let's see.
I believe so, according to
I think
Story.
he did, and I do know the 18 was ahead of our leader, so he's going to get caught back up. But I think that's Kurt Busch is going to stay 2 laps down, or maybe he made up one on that caution right there. He's still a lap down.
Pace car picks up the field over in turn number 2. We're at 27 laps, first caution of the day. Brian Vickers lost 2 laps making that stop.
Yeah, Brian was the big loser in this one. You know, no debris caution or caution for his damage. He rolls into pit road and he ends up losing 2 laps.
Let's go up to the Visine spotter stand at Auto Club Speedway. Here's a unique view from the Visine spotter stand cam. Brett Griffin, spotter for Clint Boyer.
A little checked up down here, man.
Number 15.
Pit road is open.
Watching his car and others as they circulate behind the pace car. And they're going to open pit road this time by.
Mike, there's so much performance in the car when you play with the air pressures. You let those left side tire pressures down and the car gets a lot more grip. It'll turn the corner a lot better. But there's a price to pay. If you go too low, you're going to have a tire problem.
Pit road is open, and here come the leaders. Jamie.
The 19 car for Carl Edwards has gotten so much better since they unloaded on Friday, saying he's just a little loose off, but keeping his eye on the water temp. It went up to 245. This was a good break, a wedge adjustment and air pressure. Chris?
Martin Truex Jr. charging up into the top 3. Says he's been running the bottom groove on the racetrack. Hasn't even ventured high yet. He's pretty happy with that race car. If anything, just a little bit loose in 3 and 4. Matt?
Judging from practice, the fear about the 4 has come to fruition. The car almost perfect. He has adjusted slightly with the in-car track bar. Meanwhile, the 3 of Austin Dillon, our pole sitter, his car on the tight side that first run, changes to improve.
3 wide race. The Advanced Auto Parts race off pit road. They're 3 abreast.
It's going to be good. I don't know who's going to win it.
Let's have a look at our pit road cam.
Look at that.
Just like on the racetrack.
Yeah, look at that. Perfect.
Close. They're coming around to get 1 to go from our aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Superior performing tires to face challenging conditions on track and on the road. Goodyear, official tire of NASCAR. 1 lap will go back to green, completing lap 31. Your leaders, Carl Edwards, Martin Truex, and Kevin Harvick. Denny Hamlin came in before the pits were open to get damage repaired, but he has a bigger issue now.
These radios, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. I know you can't hear me, but this isn't going to work if I can't hear anybody. We're going to change to run radio 2 here. No idea what you said. No clue. All the way down pit lane. I had no idea whether I was pitting, not pitting. No clue.
Well, you hear the frustration. He knows they are trying to talk to him. He can't understand them. There's a lot of radio frequencies, very heavily populated area here. Certainly there are chances for some bleed over and these issues.
And what I'm shocked is that he didn't come down pit road again to try to fix this radio. This is a perfect opportunity to come in. Now maybe when they switched to radio 2 and maybe he started switching to different channels and he finally made communication with them.
Matt?
Mike, Jeff hit it perfectly. When they went to the second radio, then the confusion was over which channel. He couldn't hear which channel they wanted him to go to. They're finally now have it fixed. They're on the same frequency. Radio communication, at least at this point, is back.
He will start tail into the longest line because he pitted before pit road had been opened. Carl Edwards, Martin Truex, pair of Toyotas on the front row. Chevys behind them, Harvick and Dillon. Fords behind them, teammates Logano and Keselowski. Pace cars in, here we go. Green flag.
See Harvick getting that big push from the 22 of Joey Logano. Carl Edwards on the bottom. Harvick trying to make something happen up top.
Harvick should get a nice run off of turn 2 there, a little higher, got a little bit more straightaway speed, get a little draft off that 19, get up to his back bumper.
Top of the screen, Keselowski goes top to bottom to try to make the move into turn 3.
And all the way down to the apron.
Oh, you feel like Superman when you got 4 brand new Goodyears on your car.
Yeah, you see that? He overshot it. Brad Keselowski dove to the apron. And he sort of missed it. He slid up the racetrack and allowed Jimmy Johnson to get a big run underneath him.
Man, they're 4 wide going off into turn 1 there. Woo, I hope they make it.
Now, what I saw the last time when the start of the race was Carl Edwards had some pretty good speed at the beginning of the run, but then as the run went on, Kevin Harvick's car really started to become stronger.
Carl Edwards out front, only the second driver to lead this race today. Talking about tires before the restart.
Tires look really good, no joke.
Okay. Yeah, they get hard to drive after about 20.
I like it when it's hard to drive. We got the man for that.
I appreciate it, man.
You know, it's funny. I've been watching this gaggle right here, and I don't know how they're keeping wrecking each other. They've been all over each other sideways. What a race.
Plenty of room here.
There's racing, all kinds of racing all the way through the field, but here's the race for the lead right here, Kevin Harvick and Carl Edwards.
Here we go, boys.
Edwards led 4 laps. Harvick wants it back.
You saw there, Kevin Harvick went up to his quarter panel, side drafted him, put that air, dumped that air on the spoiler, and got a big boost of energy and a big run to take that lead.
And you know, after that narrowest of losses last week, Carl's got to just hate that.
Oh, they're having fun right now, Mike. They're kind of playing mind games with each other right now.
He's coming back now.
Yeah, they're playing little mind games right now. Who's got the best car? Who's the best driver? Who's going to come out on top today?
Well, you can hear Kevin Harvick have to get out of the throttle, and that allowed Carl Edwards to get the momentum and get the run on him.
I told you in our pre-race show, I'm going to get you today, buddy.
I love watching these guys battle it out like this.
Oh, this is fun. This is what racing's all about.
This is early. This is not even the end of the race.
They better not mess around too much, though, because the 78 car Martin Truex is right in their shadow.
He's in a perfect position. He's going to watch them use up their tires, and you watch it about 10 laps, he might be going by both of them.
About 10 years ago, we had the battle of the beer cars. Here we get the battle of the sub shops for first place.
See that outside lane straddling that seam. We talk about these seams here being really slick, but he straddled that one. Kevin Harvick did, got the momentum off of 2.
Now, what got Martin Truex up there to challenge them? They're still side by side for the lead, and here comes Truex.
Truex is loving this.
As you heard, he now gets his pit crew from Joe Gibbs Racing. That 10.9 second stop for Truex was that team's fastest pit stop of the year.
And he was all the way down on the apron then, Mike. I mean, he drove all the way through 3 and 4 on the apron, and he is there.
Another change for the lead here.
Harvick inches ahead. Now by a car length, Edwards has to deal with Truex. And 4th place, teammates battling.
Listen to him work the throttle. He's really having to pedal that thing up off the corner over there. Lost the nose a little bit.
Logano, Keselowski for 4th. Having their own private battle. Casey Kane, unscheduled stop on pit road. Flat tire. Now let's check with Matt Yoakum, who is with Goodyear's Greg Stucker.
And we saw issues on Friday and Saturday with the 18 team. And Greg Stucker, director of racing for Goodyear, what are you seeing up and down pit road the first run or so on the tires?
Overall, things look pretty good. We're definitely seeing some signs that guys are getting pretty aggressive on left sides. It's a pretty common phenomenon here in Fontana. They do it a lot. trying to get a hold of this worn-out surface, probably even more so this year with the low downforce. They're trying to get every bit of mechanical grip they can. So it's something everybody's aware of. It's something everybody's going to watch, our guys as well. But I think it's just something that we'll keep an eye on throughout the course of the afternoon.
There's two ways to go with the air pressure. If you're too low, you're going to creep it back up a little bit. If you're too high, you're going to creep it down a little bit. You got to find that happy medium in there where the car will perform but not tear up the tire.
It was a left rear tire down on Casey Kane's car that caused his unscheduled stop a moment ago.
Mike, when we watch these cars in practice, and I'm in the race the same way today, when they go down the back straightaway, the car just undulates up and down violently, and it really works the sidewall of those left side tires. Then you throw in running on the apron, down on the apron, getting into turn 3, that transition, you're putting a lot of pressure on the left sides.
Man, I love this battle we've got up here for the lead. Carl Edwards is driving that thing down in the corner. Harvick's just working that throttle and steering wheel on the top side.
Well, we have two superheroes battling back in the field, but we have Carl Edwards, who is trying to avenge his defeat by the narrowest of margins, 1/100th of a second 1 week ago.
Carl's pretty tenacious about that, too.
And let's get an update on Casey Kane from Jamie.
So Keith Rodden, his crew chief, just came on the radio and told Casey it was a melted bead on the right rear. Casey came on the radio and just said, I was super tight that entire run. They're going to keep an eye on that the rest of this race.
Thanks, Jamie.
Mike, again, it's aerodynamics. So you don't want any. We got a heck of a battle here with Martin Truex looking under Carl Edwards coming off 4. But they try to keep the undercarriage of the car as clean as they can, and they're not getting enough air to cool those rear tires.
Second place, Truex.
Power move by Martin Truex Jr. right there. His car is working so good on the bottom of 34.
Don't forget, he lost the Daytona 500 by 1/100th of a second. Payback day in Fontana, folks, with 40 laps complete.
All the golds in California.
The Auto Club 400 is sponsored by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR, and by Bud Light. Raise one to right now.
44 laps complete. Kevin Harvick and Carl Edwards have traded the leads back and forth 5 times in 44 laps. For a limited time, switch to Sprint. Save 50% on most Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile rates. Sprint, better for less. Kevin Harvick leads Martin Truex by 1.1 seconds. Carl Edwards another 0.6 back. Joey Logano 3.2 off the lead. Matt Kenseth rounds out the top 5.
Do you see how close Kevin Harvick was to that wall? He's using every, I want to say inch, but I think it's millimeters now.
You want to see something? Watch that radar gun going off into turn 1. Last time down there, Kevin Harvick was 204 getting into turn 1.
And that's that big sweeping exit off of turn 4, carried all that momentum down this long front straightaway. 204 miles per hour going into turn 1.
Yeah,
by the way, you're sliding as you get in there.
Exactly. 204 in a straight line wouldn't be too bad, but you got to make the corner.
Well, the Dark Knight is having a difficult day. Let's go for an inside ride with the 88, sponsored by Nationwide.
Didn't make any difference on the car. The car is awful. Okay. The top groove is way too tight. I'm finding some turn down here. Good job, sir. Turn around.
And yeah, you hear him talking about searching around. So now the crew chief can't do anything while the cars are out there on the racetrack. It's the driver's job, especially on a racetrack that has multiple grooves like this, to try to figure out how he can change his lanes, get down to the apron in 3 and 4. How you use your brakes, how you get out of the brakes, all these things. And he's kind of in a tough situation because he does need a big adjustment, it sounds like.
Left of your screen is Kyle Busch, and around goes Kyle Larson.
Ooh, man, big impact. Man, thank God that safer barrier's there, but that was still a huge impact.
Second caution of the day, lap 48.
That thing hit head on.
Did you see it go up in the air, DW?
It reminded me of when Denny Hamlin wrecked down here off turn 4 a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I see him moving around inside there.
Goodness.
Now, he has radioed the team and said he's okay. He was running 27th.
Yeah, what'd you say? I said, I'm all right. That one really hurt, though. 10-4, man. Just take your time here.
You can see the left rear tire is cut down there. I don't know if that had anything to do with this or if that happened after, but it's off the tread like that. You can see the inner liner underneath that.
And this is the car that he wrecked in practice. I think they repaired the car, so same thing similar happened to him in practice. Not this bad, obviously.
All right, let's have a look at what happened to Kyle Larson to bring out this second caution. Top of the screen.
Way up the top up there. Coming.
Oh, yeah, you can just see right there. Left rear tire goes out, and he's lost control at this moment. He's trying to keep it going straight.
Yep.
Hits the outside wall.
This is the one that's going to hurt.
Yeah,
watch this thing come down through here. Head on into that inside wall.
Just
Roof
nothing
flap.
he can do at this point.
Just hang on. And
straight into the safer barrier.
Watch that safer barrier. Watch that thing flex and shoot that car back out.
Now you're talking about a 3,400-pound piece of machinery lifted all 4 wheels up in the ground and spins it around like a top.
Probably running about 140, maybe 50 miles an hour, even
in the scrub,
at that point, trying to scrub off speed.
As it scrubs off speed, still carrying a tremendous amount of speed.
That's huge.
Here's another look.
Just can't catch the left rear down. The car wants to turn right. Hits that outside wall. And watch this safer barrier. I mean, that thing bowed in and it absorbed all that energy. If that is a concrete wall, totally different story.
Kyle Larson climbed out of the car okay. Pit road is open. And here they all come. Jamie?
Carl Edwards really happy with the car on that run. He's calling for a 4-tire stop here. No changes as of now. Wants a water, and he wants the team to look at the hood. He thinks there might be a piece of metal on it, so they'll take a look at that as well. Chris?
Martin Truex Jr. saying his car really wakes up after about 15 laps. His biggest concern, just a little bit tight on takeoff speed. So these restarts, he's losing a couple positions. 4 tires. Matt?
Leader Kevin Harvick has won 3 of the last 5 NASCAR Goes West races and looking pretty stout now. Similar to the first run, the car just loses forward drive, going to adjust that with an air pressure change. Meanwhile, Joey Logano on the 22 says his car takes off pretty good, but then he starts to lose turn in the center and then exit. Air pressure for the 22.
Kevin Harvick gets out in front of Joey Logano. He will win the Advanced Auto Parts race off pit road. Logano picks up 2 spots. Quarter of the distance In California, Kyle Larson cuts down a left rear tire and takes a wild ride to the inside wall. Luxurious shopping, fine dining, the Hollywood Hills, a little sand at the beach, and a lot of racing in the eastern part of Los Angeles on the former Kaiser Steel Mills site. California Speedway, now Auto Club Speedway, and home to the Auto Club 400, where we've completed 51 of 200 laps. Kevin Harvick, the race leader, were under the second caution of the day because of Kyle Larson's crash. It appears a left rear tire goes down. Larson fights for control. It's Michael McDowell alongside, just getting past.
Look how close he comes to this car right there.
Now, the one thing that concerns me about this, I'm not seeing the tires really lock up. I guess right there at the end, hard to tell with those white wheels. What a huge impact, spins it around like a top, but look at this, climbs out, gives a wave.
You know what, you talked about the tires, it's surprising. He probably thought he could save it.
Look at what's left. of that Chip Ganassi Chevrolet. Penalty on the first pit stops, and that would be Greg Biffle, men over the wall too soon. Now on this pit stop, we have a problem with Brad Keselowski, and on the right of your screen, that tire gets to the pit wall safely.
This is the pro system, Mike, that NASCAR is looking at, the pit road officiate, and you see right there, that tire right there, he took it to the wall, but it bounced off that tire and rode back out. That's an uncontrolled tire. The penalty will be Brad Keselowski will have to start at the tail end of the longest line.
And the pictures you just saw are sent to us from the NASCAR Pro trailer. So you were seeing just what the official sees when he makes that call.
And Larry, I'm assuming that tire didn't actually go outside the box. It's just that's their rule, that it's uncontrolled, and so that's the penalty.
Yeah, the crew member has to stay in contact with the tire back to the wall, which he did. But when he got it there, it bounced off that other tire, and that's why they called it an uncontrolled tire.
Remember, he won Vegas, I think it was, with a speeding penalty on pit road. So that's not it's not the end of it yet.
2016 Toyota Camry XSE leads the field into turn number 4. Brian Vickers got the free pass on this caution flag, and Chris Buescher took the wave around to get himself back on the lead lap. There's our Visine Gopher Cam giving you a look at the banking in turn number 4 near the entrance to pit road. We're going back to green this time. 148 laps to go. Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano will test Harvick from the front row, and we're back under green.
Well, it's a drag race. They're side by side when they went across the line this time, and I believe that 22 car might squeeze ahead here.
Got a nice push there from Truex, that is Harvick did.
Oh, but Harvick's got that big run off the top of that corner, gets that momentum, sends him down that back straightaway.
Yeah, did you see how hard Harvick was driving to keep that lead, to get that momentum? You could see the back of the car step out. Look at this, 4 wide down the back straightaway.
Whoa now.
Fresh tires. Everybody wants to gain position wherever they can. Kyle Busch right in the middle of that in 10th place, the yellow 18.
Oh, that guy in that yellow car right there, that M&M's car, he loves it when it gets like this, congested.
I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but up front, we've got a battle for the lead. Martin Truex Jr., man, he's fast this weekend. Look at that, power move to the bottom.
But watch this pass back. Watch this crossover move. Here I come on the inside.
Back here now, coming inside.
Got you back.
Boy, that lead was short-lived.
It's not over yet.
Martin carried it in so hard on the bottom and he couldn't hold it, and Kevin got a run on him. But that 78 car is hooked up.
And look who's right with him.
Look
Superman.
at that, Superman coming into. Where'd he come from?
Jimmy Johnson. A phone booth.
There's a bird. There's a plane.
Yeah. Well, we know where his cape is.
Yeah, Earl has it up on the roof. His spotter.
Boy, there's some crazy stuff that goes on.
Yeah.
On these restarts, and these cars are all bunched up. Oh, my goodness.
Here's somebody else coming into the picture. Matt Kenseth down there in the bottom.
First time we've seen him up in the top 5 today.
You know who's loving this? That guy up there in the 4 car. They'll just keep racing each other.
Tell you what I'm loving. I'm loving this aero package. I mean, I've never seen such close racing and as many passes as what we're seeing here, especially for the lead. This new aero package is working really, really well here.
Kansas Toyota slips up into the groove in 3rd.
And Jeff, we're hearing that across the board. The drivers are saying they like it. It makes the car a little more difficult to drive. It really puts it back in their hands, and they're loving it too.
Now, I'm not exactly sure what happened to Carl Edwards on that last pit stop, but he dropped back a little bit, but he's working his way back up there.
Jimmy Johnson 4th there over Joey Logano. Here comes Kyle Busch for 9th against Eric Almirola's Ford.
Maybe they added a little air to his tires.
If I'm a crew chief, I'm adding air to all my tires.
Just to be safe right now.
You asked where Jimmy Johnson came from. He restarted 9th. After 1 lap under green, he was 4th.
Yeah.
Busch and Almirola for 9th place here.
This is an amazing comeback already for Kyle Busch with the issues that he had earlier.
Oh, that caution flag that we had, the first one, really saved him. Got him back on the. He was on the lead lap, got him caught up. Now he's back in the race.
Almirola coming back on Busch. Let's listen to Carl Edwards' audio.
Get your track bar back up, bud. 6.4. Yeah, I got it up. The Sanchez was really didn't make a lot of grip through the first couple corners. We'll get it back.
What I find interesting about that comment from Carl Edwards, that's the first time he started further back in traffic. So even though this aero package is far better and the cars are slicker and there's not going to be as much turbulent air, there's still a lot of air being moved around at 200 miles per hour. And I have a feeling that was a big part of his discomfort in the car in those opening laps.
That, and I bet you they added a little air to his tires because he said there wasn't a lot of grip there for the first couple of laps. I bet they're on the safe side right now.
Jimmy Johnson, Superman, up to 4th place now.
You're watching Fox NASCAR.
The Auto Club 400 is sponsored by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. By Criminal, starring Kevin Costner in theaters April 15th. And by Sprint, proud sponsor of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
63 laps complete. Kevin Harvick has led 55 of them. Martin Truex 1 second back. Matt Kenseth 1.5. Jimmy Johnson 3.5, and Joey Logano 4 seconds off the lead.
Mike, I just think that Kevin Harvick is one of the craftiest drivers you're ever going to watch. I think he gets that gap, and then he maintains that gap between the second place car and him.
And we saw this in practice. He really has great long run speed. So some of these other teams are able to battle with him on the short runs, like Jimmy Johnson, Martin Truex, Carl Edwards, but boy, on the long runs, he seems to stretch it out.
He stretches it on out.
Martin Truex trying to figure how they're going to close the gap.
He's doing different behind me. He's a half a groove higher in 3 and 4, but you're really good 3 and 4. But you're the best car in 3 and 4 out here. Yeah, I was more worried about 1 and 2. Where's he at? A little bit lower. The last lap he was right with you, same line that you was running.
I could tell Martin Truex Jr. where he's at, wherever he isn't. Yeah. He's looking for clean air.
Yeah, that was Clayton Hughes, his spotter, talking to Martin Truex Jr. there.
You know, guys, obviously he's got a good race car, but let me tell you something. When he's been coming to pit road, let's take a look at his advanced auto pit performance right here. The 2 trips he's made to pit road. Look at that. Both stops under 11 seconds, and that's 4 tires and fuel. And I know for a fact on that last pit stop, they made an adjustment. What I can't guarantee you, that they're tightening 5 lugs.
You know where they got their pit crew this year from, don't you, Larry?
Joe Gibbs Racing.
Yes, sir, and they're on it.
Larry, are there even 5 lugs on it?
I would say 4 on the right, 3 on the left.
We'll know in a little while.
Harvick's lead 1.4 seconds. We gave you the top 5. Austin Dillon in 6th. Let's get some update on some other contenders. Jamie.
Look at A.J. Allmendinger. What a day he's having, running 7th right now. He started in the back of the field today. His crew chief, Randall Burnett, yesterday after final practice said something looked weird with the gear, so they opted to change it. He said, this place we can pass, so it's not a bad place to start in the back, and passing is exactly what they've done, Matt.
Austin Dillon's been so impressive week in, week out this year. Actually, he's averaging 14 spots better a finish compared to the first 4 races last year. Slugger Labrie told me, you've been good on Friday and Saturday. Sunday is where we live. We've got to minimize our mistakes. Right now, the car starts out tight, and it slowly builds loose. Chris?
Well, these restarts have been good for Kyle Busch. He was mired back in, I think, about mid-35th or so, but he's up to the top 10 right now. The big problem, though, after about 15 laps, that car still just wrecking loose for him. They've made lots of adjustments. He has said it, the car feels a little bit tighter right now, but we've got to watch it after a 20-lap run. That's when the car just gets way too loose.
So what makes these cars handle so differently today than they did in final practice yesterday?
I think it's a little hotter today, for one thing. I think the track temps are way up over what they were yesterday, and then you just got to, once you get in race conditions, you got to compensate for that and adjust for that.
And I would add rubber being laid down on the racetrack, a hotter track temperature, the cars are sliding around a little bit more, and traffic. There's far more cars out there on the track right now than there were yesterday.
Chase Elliott makes the pass on Allmendinger, 7th place. Five Chevys in the top 8. Truex the best Toyota in 2nd, and Logano the best Ford right now in 5th. Denny Hamlin had radio issues, among others, early. They got that resolved by switching to a 2nd radio, and he had to restart tail end of the lead lap, which was back about 35th, and he is now rebounded to 16th.
He had actually told his team, if we can't get this fixed, and I don't know if they heard him or not, we're going to have to take it to the garage. That's how serious it was.
Somebody else that we talk about, we see Greg Biffle get really loose there off of turn 4, but in front of him, Dale Earnhardt Jr., he's slowly but surely, I think they're starting to make some adjustments to that car. He's starting to find a nice groove that works for him. He's slowly making his way up to the front. Look at this. Chase Elliott, two young guns right here. Chase Elliott and Austin Dillon. Great battle here, but Chase Elliott is on a move right now. He's really fast.
I've seen that 24 and 3 race each other before.
There's a little more contact from what I remember.
Boy, these fans have seen a lot of side-by-side action and one horrendous wreck.
The Auto Club 400 is sponsored by Cialis and by KFC's new Nashville Hot Chicken. It's spicy, smoky, and crispy.
We have a new leader. Martin Truex Jr. has taken command of the Auto Club 400. Kevin Harvick made an unscheduled pit stop. Matt.
Mike, Kevin Harvick came on the radio and said pitting this time, pitting this time. He hit pit road once they took the tires off the 4 car. Cheddar Bob Smith, the car chief, and Goodyear looked over the tires, no signs of a loose wheel. He said, I had a vibration. It just started vibrating. Didn't want to take a chance. At this juncture, the tires look good.
Now
They're further investigating.
He did not lose a lap on that stop since he pitted as the leader. A.J. Allmendinger has also made a stop. Now, here's what Harvick said.
Well, the vibration's still here, so it must have just been an harmonic. Careful. Yeah, all the tires look great. No issues there at all.
That's crew chief Rodney Childers.
And that really, truly, it's a little early to be making a green flag stop, but it's not that much early. Maybe within a 10-lap window here.
I mean, it's just odd to me that vibration would come out of nowhere and then stay there.
He had such a comfortable lead, and they have such a fast car. I think he just didn't want to take a chance.
Talking about a fast car here. Superman tracking down Martin Truex Jr. here. I mean, I thought that Jimmy had a really good short run car, and Martin had the better long run car. But boy, now we're starting to see Jimmy, and this is the greatness of this team and the 48 team and Jimmy Johnson. He knows how to search around the racetrack and find ways to find more speed.
Let's go to the leaders pit. Chris.
And Martin Truex Jr. has said he has a good long run car, but just in the last couple of laps, he did tell Cole Pern, his crew chief, I'm starting to get loose out here. I'm going to have to start running the high side, something he hasn't done much today.
Well, Jimmy Johnson's trying to become the 5th different leader today.
And these California fans are loving it.
Just a little bit better getting down into turn 1. He's going to slide right up in front of Martin Truex, and away he goes.
Jamie?
Well, Jeff, you were talking about the 48 in this setup. I talked to Jimmy right before he got in the car. He opted for a good ride quality car, so he thought that was going to hurt him on the short run a little bit, but it's not. And he says the car is the best it's been, just a tick loose right now.
I think that's something for the race you really have to concentrate on in this racetrack is the quality of the ride. You cannot have a car jumping over those bumps down the back straightaway and expect it to last all day.
Well, we also, DW, we focus so much on aerodynamics and aerodynamic grip, but at this abrasive racetrack, as much fall off and the way the tires give up speed as you run on this abrasive racetrack, to me, mechanical grip and the springs and shocks still play a big role.
Good day for the rookies. Ryan Blaney passing Carl Edwards there for 7th place. Let's go to Jamie.
Kyle Larson hit a ton, and he was inside the care center for quite some time. I'm glad to see you're okay, Kyle. But Jeff Gordon noticed that your tires, your wheels didn't look like they stopped as you approached the wall. What happened?
Yeah, when I was going down the backstretch and my tire, I think it was my left rear, got cut. It must have ripped a brake line because I went to push the pedal and went straight to the floorboard and couldn't slow down. So it was definitely a hard hit there, probably one of the harder ones of my career. You know, and even before that, we were pretty sub-average there. We were pretty bad. So disappointed in our run today, but you know, glad I'm all right.
Thanks, Kyle.
I tell you, that's got to be a panic mode.
That is a scary thing to hear.
All right. He doesn't have Superman's cape. His car isn't painted like Batman, but Chase Elliott has been the boy wonder today. He is now up to 3rd.
He's trying to chase Superman right now and get caught up with his partner. Wow, he's looking good. What a great run. And this is a challenging racetrack. And here's another rookie having a great day. I love seeing these young, talented new drivers make their mark in NASCAR like they are today.
Now, Brian Scott was fastest in one of the practice sessions this weekend. Jeffrey Earnhardt had made an unscheduled pit stop, and we talked about what happened to Chris Buescher earlier. All trying to rebound. Here's Josh Wise from nearby Riverside, California, about to go another lap down to Jimmy Johnson. "80 laps complete. We expect green flag pit stops before long." They're getting ready.
The Auto Club 400 is sponsored by Advance Auto Parts. Let's get you back to the garage.
Green flag stops. Race leader Jimmy Johnson and Martin Truex pitted. That handed the lead to Chase Elliott. Now he's in the pit lane along with a dozen others at lap 84 after the longest green flag run of the day. Matt Kenseth is the new race leader. Denny Hamlin too fast entering. Jamie.
All clear behind you.
And Carl Edwards saying he's a little bit tight. He got beat on that restart. They wiped the grill. 4 tires stop. Wedge in air pressure, Matt.
A great run by Chase Elliott. The previous stop, they pushed a spring rubber in the right rear to help fix the tightness. It certainly did. It lit the car up. He moved up near the front. Meanwhile, the 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s in. Chassis adjustment for him. His car still wicked tight. Will not turn through the center of the corner.
Dale Jr. getting service. Matt Kenseth coming in. That should turn the lead back to Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, that'll cycle it back into Harvick now, and he's back in the lead. But of course, we know he's got about 10 more laps on his tires.
Matt?
Starting the race, Jason Ratcliffe felt like they had a good race car. He just needed to see how much the racetrack would change. It has certainly been a good day for them. The car a little bit building on the free side, an air pressure change for the 20. Jamie?
Casey Kane back in 34th, 1 lap down after that tire issue earlier. He's just been tight. They were optimistic coming into the weekend, thought they had a car with more speed, another brand new car, but it's not the day.
Paul Menard too fast exiting pit road.
Man, we got a lot of penalties
So
today.
he'll get a drive-through penalty.
You just feel like you're crawling on this pit road, this long pit road. You're going 200 miles per hour out on the racetrack. You get on pit road, it's so hard to be at 55 or 60 miles per hour.
I hate speeding penalties. Gosh almighty, I hate those.
That is a tire off Martin Truex's car, Chris.
Yeah, Mike, about 2 laps prior to the pit stop, Martin Truex called in, said, I think I've got a right rear tire coming apart. Cole Pearn told him to come down pit lane, and it was interesting. He really felt that that tire was coming apart, but as you can see, there's just a small chunk on that right rear missing. So interesting to see the feedback that these drivers are getting off the racetrack as these tires are wearing.
Mike, as the tires wear and you hit those seams in the track, sometimes the car will do something you didn't expect, a little erratic, and the driver, with knowing there are other people having tire problems, he'll overreact and want to come to pit road.
Well, I also wonder if that played a role in the loss of speed that he had when Jimmy Johnson got the lead. Was that tire and that chunk coming out of the tire, or maybe it was leaking air that caused that car to get really loose?
Jimmy Johnson now 9 seconds back of Kevin Harvick, and all of that lead buildup was due to Harvick making his pit stop 12 laps prior to the other leaders, as did A.J. Allmendinger, who is currently 3rd.
I know it put Harvick in a hole. I know it was it probably was not the right. He didn't need that right now, but he was smart about what he did. I thought, bring it to pit road, don't take a chance.
Now at the end of the pit stop cycle, Jimmy was 11 seconds back. Now he has cut that down to 8 seconds, so he's coming.
Oh yeah, he's coming in a hurry. He's 6-7 tenths a lap faster. So that's the difference we see in how the drop off on tires. New tires have a tremendous amount of grip and speed. Look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. dive into the inside of the 4 car. You got Casey Mears coming. I think that's the 5 of Casey Kane. All these drivers coming with fresh tires. That's the difference between old tires and new tires. Jimmy Johnson's going to also be coming in a hurry.
Right. Earnhardt's tires are 13 laps newer than Harvick's. So the gain is temporary when you're the first car to pit in a green flag cycle, but Kevin Harvick is your leader with 89 laps complete.
You're watching Fox NASCAR.
93 laps complete. Kevin Harvick, your race leader, one of 3 drivers with top 10 finishes in all 4 races this season. The Sprint LTE Plus network delivers faster download speeds than other national carriers. Sprint, better for less. When we went to break, Harvick's lead over Jimmy Johnson was 8 seconds. Johnson has chopped that in half and then some. He's now 3.5 back.
Well, that's the difference. 13 laps, I think it is, difference in their tires right now. And that's just helping Jimmy a ton right now.
Well, I also think that the 4-car forced these other teams to actually come in maybe a little sooner than they anticipated. So their fuel window is much further out than this. But when Harvick came, even though he had a problem and came earlier, they couldn't afford to let him be out there and making up all that lap time on fresher tires.
8th place race here, pole sitter Austin Dillon with Kyle Busch, who's recovered from an unscheduled stop, and Carl Edwards. Tires are the talk of the town. Here's Brad Keselowski with more.
Tell me what you're thinking here, Paul. Did I burn the left rear off it or so?
I mean, there wasn't a lot left there, no. But you definitely used it up the longest run we've had today, too, so I don't have a great judge, but...
Wow.
You're pretty wide on top now.
That 8th place race heated right up. The 2 Toyotas now get together and leave that Chevrolet in the outside lane.
They were all running 8th there for a second.
That's right. You're not kidding. There is the Joe Gibbs team running order.
And go back to what Brad Keselowski was talking about on the radio there. He tends to use the apron a lot down in turns 3 and 4, and it's more abrasive down there than even the regular racing surface, and it's easy to use up the left side tires, especially that left rear tire down there. And I'm wondering if that's what he was asking about, is can I run down there? Did I wear the left rear tire out more? Because I can move around if I really need to. And you see him, here he goes right down to the apron. So he's going to use that left side tire up more than others.
Some guys, and you know this because you've been there, some guys are just more, they know there's a tire situation going on and they're more aware of it, and they kind of monitor it a little closer, Matt.
DW during practice, it's exactly what the 2 of Brad Keselowski did. Now, he ran primarily on the bottom. That's where the car had the most speed and felt the most comfortable. He did A and B it by going up top just a couple times, but Paul Wolf said that's where they had the most speed, on the bottom.
I just don't think you can overthink your tire situation. We know, everybody in this field knows that you can have a problem. So that's on a driver's mind lap after lap after lap. Am I punishing it? Am I running in the bottom? Should I not be running where I am? Just all kind of things go through the driver's mind.
You know, guys, looking at Kevin Harvick leading this race, and also A.J. Allmendinger in the 47 running 7th. Remember, they pitted on laps 71 and 72. They're going to have to make a green flag pit stop somewhere between 105 and 110. All the other leaders should be able to go to 120 to 125. Right now, having the pit early has worked out okay, but I think for this to work out in the grand scheme of things, they're going to need a caution to get back on an even playing field.
2 laps to halfway. Kevin Harvick now leading Jimmy Johnson by just 2 seconds. Our Fox NASCAR mid-race report next.
Glad you're watching live from the Auto Club Speedway here in California. Time for the Fox NASCAR mid-race report. Drivers have scraped the outside wall here at least 10 times in the first half of this race. Kevin Harvick, who dominated NASCAR Goes West last year, trying to do it again this time around. He's led the most laps today. His nemesis of last week, Carl Edwards, has turned the fastest lap. And Kyle Larson, one of 8 drivers from California in this race, crashed out because of a tire problem on lap 48. He's okay. So tires, the outside wall, the competition, creating chaotic circumstances. Jeff, who are you keeping an eye on?
Well, Chris, I know Kevin Harvick's leading this race, but I've got my eye on 5-time Auto Club winner Jimmie Johnson, better known today as Superman. He's got short run speed and the long run speed, and we know this can come down to a restart. That short run speed is going to pay off today.
Larry, I like Chase Elliott. He's got 2 crashes and 2 top 10s in the first 4 races of the season. Saw him before the race at the grid. He's loose, he's ready, and that Napa Chevy is really fast. Watch for Chase to close on these guys as this race closes down.
Hey, my guy's had a lot of trouble lately, but today, when he runs in the top 5, this is his kind of race. Keep an eye on that 20 car and Matt Kenseth to victory circle.
If you look back to the past few years, Joey Logano has really come alive in the second half of the season. But in the final practice, his car truly came alive. A long-run car. They're about 1 adjustment away from working that freeness out near the end of the run. Keep an eye on the 22.
Kevin Harvick is on pace to lead more laps here today than he's led here in his entire career. Now, the leader of the most laps has failed to win 4 of the last 5 races here, but this is no comic book. Harvick wins today. Larry, come on back.
I'm here now. Here I am. Who I'm looking at is Martin Truex Jr. Started back in 17th, worked his way to lead this race running 3rd, but I still believe, like Chris Meyer said earlier, the story could be the left side tires in the second half of this race.
All right, Larry, we always hear you. Harvick and Johnson running 1-2 back in 2010, right, when Johnson was winning all those championships. Harvick said that 48 team has a golden horseshoe stuck up there, you know what. And then in 2011, Harvick won the race here in California, edging out Jimmie Johnson. And Harvick and Johnson are going at it as pit stops are coming. Let's head back upstairs to Mike.
And here comes Kevin Harvick. Remember, he stopped 12 or 13 laps before most of the rest of the leaders, putting him somewhat off sequence. So now he's in again for 4 Goodyear tires and Sunoco race fuel.
What this is going to do, though, this is going to be interesting to watch how the other competition reacts to what Kevin Harvick does. Do they let him get out on 4 tires before they come in?
Pat.
Kevin Harvick is in. Remember, Mike, like you mentioned, he is off sequence from the others. Last year he started and finished 2nd. Today, though, outside pole, and he has dominated the first part of this event. Jamie?
And Jimmie Johnson saying he was more comfortable that run. I don't know if it was faster, but it was definitely more comfortable. They're going to come in just a couple of laps. Chad Knaus, his crew chief, said keep digging, get as much as we can while Kevin Harvick is on pit road.
So Harvick and Allmendinger had stopped at laps 71 and 2 respectively. They are the first to pit. The question is, if you're one of these other lead drivers and those 2 have fresh tires, how long can you stay out?
Well, we saw where they stayed out about 10 laps longer the last time, and Kevin Harvick got that big lead. It actually worked out pretty good for A.J. Allmendinger as well. I don't think that now they can afford to allow that 4 car to get out to that big of a lead.
You're not going to run 10 more laps, I can tell you. I think you're going to come pretty early.
Car in the wall, turn 2. It is Trevor Bayne.
Caution's out, caution's out. You got one coming inside, then you're clear low. Watch your speed. You're going to be good here, but we can't tear a fender off.
Now he scraped the wall in turn 1, rode it around to turn 2, and then got off the wall. We're under caution.
Actually, he pounded the wall about 5 laps ago down in 3 and 4. I guess he thought the car was okay, and now he's got a big problem.
I don't see how he can see out of the front windshield. It's filled with smoke inside that car.
Looks
Third
like
caution of the day. Here it is.
Looks like when we practiced here yesterday morning. He's got a lot of damage to the car even before this, Mike.
Now you can see that wall just sucked him into the wall, and he just grinded along the right side. Now I can tell you who this is going to really hurt, and that's Kevin Harvick. No, I'm telling you why. Here's why it's going to hurt him. Because he has now tires that have laps on them. He's going to be leading this race. Don't get me wrong. But when these others come in, they're going to have about 2 or 3 laps fresher tires. And we know that in that 1 lap, on tires here in an abrasive track, I think it's going to hurt him.
So Harvick stayed on the lead lap with that pit stop. So now he will probably cycle through to the lead, he and Allmendinger, when everyone else makes their pit stops under caution.
You know, Jeff,
DW's got plenty of rebuttals on this one. So does Larry.
I'm standing here shaking my head. I think it played right into Kevin Harvick's hands myself. He only ran a couple of laps on those tires, and he's going to have the lead, and I think he's in great shape now.
Yeah,
he got that caution, got caught up.
He's got about a lap and a half on his tires, and I think the thing he has going for him, he has a good handling race car, and I think he may not keep the lead, but I don't think he's going to fall way back.
No, Larry, I think it fell right into their hands. They got him caught back up, and they're good to go.
Now, wait a minute. Fell into his hands. I think he's going to lose the lead by the time they get off of turn 2.
No.
He had the lead going into the pit stops.
Look, you were Harvick. You were Harvick in the other day. I was Carl, but now I'm thinking I'm right.
Well, we're certainly going to find out.
What we've learned at this racetrack with all those side-by-side finishes over the last over the last few years, fresh tires trump just about everything else.
Thank you, Mike.
But Mike, in all honesty, think about this, Jeff. He only has a lap and a half on his tires. He just knocked the stickers off of them. They're good to go.
Yeah, but I think this place is so abrasive, knocking the stickers. If you just went down the back straightaway, that's more than I'd want to have on the tires.
But it's Kevin Harvick, and look how fast
that is true.
Meanwhile, pit road is open, thank goodness. Let's start with Jamie.
And Jimmy Johnson saying the car was definitely more comfortable there. A 4-tire stop. They were happy with the way this caution flag fell. They took a tear off up there. They'll fill them up with fuel. There is your wedge adjustment on the right rear. Chris?
Martin Truex Jr. happy with his car for the first 20 laps, but after that saying it gets too loose. He asked his team, how much further I have to go? They said, well, you get about 20 to 25 more. He said, no way. Matt?
Kenseth pulls right in front of the 24 of Chase Elliott. Kenseth pretty much pedaling at the last run, loose in, sliding across the center, and extremely loose on exit. Air pressure change for him. A small chunk came out of the left front tire on the previous stop for Chase Elliott. A chassis adjusted to help keep up with the slick racetrack. He's trying to become the third Hendrick driver to score their first career win right here at Auto Club.
Third caution of the day. Everybody making pit stops. Things will change.
The Auto Club 400 is sponsored by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Credit One Bank, the official credit card of NASCAR.
Under caution, lap 111, 1 to go to green. Jimmy Johnson was Superman this morning at the Lowe's Build and Grow Clinic for some young race fans. After a Q&A, Jimmy lended a hand building a few of the 2,200 replica Superman 48 cars that kids built this weekend at the clinic. Superhero status for Johnson and Earnhardt. It is Kevin Harvick the leader. Here is Jimmy Johnson's record at Auto Club Speedway. 5 wins, 5 seconds, 12 top 5s, 15 top 10s, almost all time at Auto Club Speedway, running in second place. And the first car that just got tires.
Hold on, running in second place currently.
Yes, but this is about the most anticipated restart for us that I've seen all year long. I can't wait to see what's going to happen here.
What does Jimmy Johnson think after this pit stop?
Doing a good job. They look good. They got that light flow crack, but there's really nothing we can do about that. We've seen it on just about every set. Doing a good job. 10-4. I think from going out there and abusing them right there, green flag wise, I think that's great.
So Jimmy Johnson's on stickers. Kevin Harvick's out there on old used comic books.
They're not old. Let's not say they're old.
Don't make it worse. Don't make it worse than it is.
It's just a very abrasive racetrack, and so any lap that you get on him is going to take a little bit of speed out of him. We saw how fast also that Jimmy Johnson was on the short runs on the last time we had a restart. So I'm saying advantage to Superman.
I'm going to say we're going to tug on his cape.
All right, we'll give 1 to go again. Austin Dillon made an extra pit stop. They had a loose wheel, so he'll restart toward the back. Here's Chris Myers with highlights.
Yeah, Mike, remember the last 3 races here haven't been settled to the last lap pass. We'll be watching for that at the beginning. Harvick and Edwards picking up where they left off from last week. And Harvick leading 84 laps, the most early contact between Kurt Busch. And that hurt Kurt Busch, who had finished in the top 10 in the previous 4 races with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Kyle Larson running 27th. The tire issue hitting about 180 miles per hour, airborne and into the wall. And after going to the care center, said he was okay. What a difference from years ago. Remember when Denny Hamlin hurt his back when he hit the wall here. But it's Harvick, Johnson, Truex at the moment as we head back upstairs.
Thanks, Chris. On the pit stop, the number 15 of Clint Boyer, his crew was over the wall too soon. So he'll restart at the back. Here's a look from our Visine spotter stand at the Visine spotter stand cam. Brett Griffin, spotter for Clint Boyer, going to try to guide his driver back up toward the front.
And you mentioned Clint Boyer there and his spotter. Clint was having a pretty decent run today. He was in a like 21st, 22nd position, which is a big improvement over what they have been.
A couple of drivers took the wave around. So Boyer will restart 28th.
I mean, are you seeing what I'm seeing? It's hard to do their job and do it as well as they do it from on top of that roof so far away on this big 2-mile Auto Club Speedway.
Other drivers that took the wave around to get back on the lead lap: Landon Castle, Michael McDowell, David Reagan. There's A.J. Allmendinger. Michael Annett. Allmendinger pitted. He didn't take the wave around. Annett did. So we will restart with 28 cars on the lead lap. And let's settle the issue of fresh tires versus scuffs on this restart. Jimmy Johnson versus Kevin Harvick. Here they come. Green flag.
Pretty even start and getting a nice push. Superman getting a nice push by that 78 car, but here comes help for the 4.
They didn't get to turn 1, DW.
Here they come.
This is great. Whoa, Chase Elliott sliding up the racetrack.
That was ugly. Harv's going to be okay.
Oh, he's going to hold his own.
He's going to be okay. He's coming back. He just.
Look at that 3-wide bunch with Ryan Blaney on the inside of Elliott. Logano drops low. Newman cuts down. Everybody looking for a lane and some running room.
We'll see how this shakes out. It's early in this little run here.
Whoa, wow.
Yikes.
Big move by Chase Elliott, cutting right across the nose of Carl Edwards, but he made the pass on Joey Logano.
His confidence is high right now. That car's running good, and he's been moving up, and he's got a lot of confidence right now. That was one of those moves.
Well, what have you often said? New tires make you feel like Superman.
See the 20 car. Matt Kenseth make a move on Kevin Harvick. Goes to third.
You're going to have to quit hitting my arm, man. I see who's leading the race. It's early. We only run 2 laps.
Number 20.
They're telling Kevin Harvick a 20. That's 40.20 seconds. Jimmy Johnson 39.50 at the front. Kyle Busch moving up on Harvick, 4th place. Here comes Logano.
Getting a little crowded back here.
Watch that 24 a lap ago. From the top to the bottom.
Oh my gosh, that was bold. Woo.
That left front's the worst we've had. So we get to a green flag stop situation like that, you just got to go 80% for about 30 laps or so. Pace it. That left front that just came off right now? Yeah, copy. But the left rear is okay. 10-4.
So that's crew chief Alan Gustafson talking about his left side tires. Early in a run is where a lot of the damage can be done to these left side tires. Hey Matt, you got a further report?
That's actually the second straight run, Jeff, that they've had a small issue where the sidewall meets the shoulder of the tire. And Chase said that he would go about 80% for the first 3 to 4 laps, just to be a little extra conservative on that left front tire.
Well, that was 110%.
I was going to say, where was the 80% down
that wasn't 80%, I promise.
Go middle of 3. Half back to the 2 up top. Go middle of 3. Middle of 3.
Ryan Blaney in the 21 had a big moment last lap around to fall into the clutches of these 4. Here's a look at it coming off turn number 4. Ricky Stenhouse behind him. Ryan Newman just ahead.
It's kind of it's in that area where there's no air on the car. Did a nice job of saving it, but he had the 31 in front of him and another car there, Allmendinger, looking up his back bumper, and it really loosened him up.
Now Blaney ran yesterday's nationwide race. Prior to that, he had never been to this racetrack, or Xfinity race, excuse me.
There's some guys that are creeping in the picture. I'm looking at the 88 car back here. Batman, he's creeping in the picture. These 2 teammates here are going at it pretty hot and heavy, the 18 and 20. Look at this 78, been able to run the bottom better than anybody all day long so far, and it's looking pretty good for him.
Martin Truex has
right
led
there
twice today for a total of 8 laps. Thought he was going to lead this one.
That's what makes it so interesting, whether you're the one in second or the one in first. In first, you're trying to figure out which is the right lane. When you're in second, you're searching around, trying to find their weakness and see if you can't get a move on them. Oh, we got a spin.
Turn 1, up and into the wall, hard.
Wow.
It's Danica Patrick.
Well, you can hear a tire down here.
I was going to say, was that another tire?
It sounds like it.
She was in 19th.
She was running 19th.
Get out? Yes. Get out.
Wow.
That's a hard lick.
Sent some fire inside the cars while she's in a hurry here to get out of the race car.
Hard hit for Danica. Running top 20 on the lead lap. And this happens.
So in the bottom here.
Underneath Casey Kane. Looks like Casey went to go tuck in behind her and just misjudged it. Got into her right rear, turned her into the wall. Hard impact.
Man, right down the straightaway here. Woo.
All right, let's ride along with Danica Patrick down into turn 1 after contact from Casey Kane.
Remember, all this is happening at 190 miles per hour right here at this part of the racetrack.
She's going by Casey here, making the pass, and man, he just clips her in the right rear and turns her into the fence.
Oh.
I Are you all right? I got to believe she might be a little upset with that little move.
Should I get out? Yes.
All right, let's hear Casey Kane's side of what happened here.
Pretty sure I hooked her right there, but I feel like she started coming up the track. I might be wrong. Yeah, both going for the same spot, as far as I can tell.
Spotter
sure
Kevin
that.
Hamlin for Casey Kane. I didn't see Danica turn the wheel to the right. I saw like she went over a little bump, a little juke. That may have been the initial contact.
Yeah, I'd
There
like
was
to
more
see
of a
it
movement.
again. I thought there was more movement from the 5. Yeah.
I think the 5 made a bigger move than she did. And what I saw, we'll look at it again. You can see she's going by. She catch Casey. She's going by.
He's side drafting her right here.
And I think
she did come up a little, but I like that other angle that we saw. I'd like to see it again to see if the 5 just got down to her right rear a little. You can see him side drafting her. Look at that move right there. See that move right there was the one that made me think that he started to come down a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't turn the wheel as we saw, but there was a growing space between her car and the white line. The car was starting to move up a little bit. Casey was coming down.
It just shows you how little it takes, how little impact it takes to turn a car sideways on a straightaway like that.
And we run so close together. I mean, you're inches apart on making a pass like that. And if one moves a little one way and one moves a little the other, you have contact.
You saw the flames. She smelled gas, climbed out of the car quickly, and will join Kyle Larson out of the race.
Hey, Daryl, I want you to take your right hand and poke that guy over there to your right, because our guy's running third. Everybody's going to come to pit road and get 4 fresh tires, and everybody will be on equal ground.
We just hung in there. I knew we would.
He was actually coming back in a hurry.
Oh no, he was. I saw that long run car. I saw that thing coming, baby.
I love it. Now we can talk. Oh, he was coming. He was getting ready to pass him.
If that caution hadn't come out, I'm telling you, he had you.
I've got to go with Daryl, because just before this happened, Harvick had passed Kyle Busch and was coming back toward the front. I looked down. His lap times had equalized to Jimmy Johnson's. So he was solid in third, just waiting for the next caution.
It's just a
and
matter
here
of
it
time.
is.
It's just a matter of time. I mean, he was. You know how Harv drives.
Hey, if you think this is fun, in 2 weeks, NASCAR on Fox goes to FS1 at Martinsville Speedway, and I can't wait.
It's been a wild and eventful 5 weeks of racing, and this season is just heating up. We've already seen 2 of the closest finishes in NASCAR's storied history, and these drivers are showing no sign of slowing down. What will the rest of the year have in store for us? Find out as we head to Martinsville next, April 3rd, only on FS1.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Come join us at Martinsville Speedway. Go to martinsvillespeedway.com or call 877-RACE-TICKS to purchase your seats at the paperclip, the little half mile that thinks it's a super speedway.
If you think me and DW having fun up here, wait till we get to Martinsville.
Hey, how many clocks you got?
Don't even start me. I know how many you have. Hey, I'm pretty proud of my 8. All right, go ahead. Give us the big number. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got 12.
Oh, man. That's awesome, by the way. That is so awesome.
Well, you know what? And he'll tell you how much work it is winding those clocks.
Oh, yeah, it wears that guy works for me out. Oh, golly.
Here's more from Casey Kane.
That's okay. I definitely didn't mean to do that. I was just trying to side draft. I know you didn't mean to do it, and that sucks, but just have plenty of laps to keep going here and get our minds right.
77 to go in this 200-lap, 400-mile race. And they removed Danica Patrick's car. A lot of speedy dry in turn 1, but pit road is open. Jamie?
Jimmy Johnson, who grew up just about 2 hours south of here. The man in control here saying the car is really good. Just a little loose into 1 and a little loose off 2. A 4-tire stop for Johnson. Chris?
Martin Truex Jr. happy with his race car in that last stop. They made a small air pressure adjustment trying to make that car better after 25 laps. Doesn't look like any adjustments on this stop. Kyle Busch, big swings early in the race. They're back in the fight. Small adjustments now. Matt?
As soon as the caution came out, Kevin Harvick said, now it's all even again. If anything, he told Rodney Childers, I would love to be able to roll the center better. Other than that, the 4 is good.
Martin Truex leading the charge off pit road this time. From Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, and Carl Edwards back into the top 5. A lot of smoke from Casey Mears' car. He is still on pit road. There is the race off, led by Martin Truex.
The Auto Club 400 is sponsored by Ford. We go further so you can. And by Lowe's. Hurry in today for big spring savings.
75 laps to go. We're under caution. Danica Patrick's crash in turn number 1. Let's take a closer look at what happened with the Ford cutaway car.
Yeah, Mike, our sport has come so far as safety for our drivers. We've already seen the effect of safer barriers, but look at Kyle Larson here. You can see the roof flap right there on the right side of his car. As that car starts to yaw, starts to spin, it deploys. And you're going to see right here, then the left one. And the minute that car gets completely back around, both of those roof flaps come up and set that car down. But where I really saw them come into play, Danica Patrick, you're going to see she spins, she hits the wall. You see the roof flap right there deployed. But right here, look at them both come up and sits that car right back down on the ground. Now let's go to our Ford cutaway car. Let's show you how the roof flaps work. When the car spins backwards, the airflow changes, and you can see the right one there, right there. It's at an angle. It deploys, and then the left one deploys, and it sits the car right back on the ground just like a flap on an airplane. We've been running these since the early 90s. To me, this is one of the big things that NASCAR's done for the safety, Mike.
Thanks, Larry. They're hauling Danica Patrick's car. There's the underside of the boxes that hold those roof flaps, and Jamie is with Danica.
And Danica Patrick was running 19th at the time of that incident. You've been checked and released. What happened from your perspective? Here's the replay.
You know, we were on a restart, and I had a run on him, so I went down low. And if you get too close to him, then it'll drag you both back. So I was going low, and I saw him chase me down the track. And then the next thing I know, I was getting spun up the track. So I mean, I was passing him, so he was behind me in the right rear, and I don't know what kind of day he was having. I just heard he was a lap down, actually. So I feel bad if he felt like he was put in a position to have to be that desperate a lap down, because it's just unfortunate. He must be having a very tough time. I was having a pretty good recovery day, kind of like last weekend, just running good race laps and on the lead lap at the end of the race, back up into the top 20 and from a bad starting position, and was looking forward to a good finish and a good off week. And unfortunately now there's more work to be done at the shop, which is not, I'm sure, what they want, but we had a good TaxAct car and Billy did a good job of setup for today, and we were moving forward.
Thanks, Danica. Mike?
Danica joins Kyle Larson in the garage after hard crashes here in Southern California. Martin Truex is the leader under caution. .128 complete, 72 to go. Martin Truex, Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, Carl Edwards. The top 5 here in Southern California. Here's a look at New Orleans, where tonight on Fox, don't miss The Passion, a live musical event about the final days of Christ's life on earth told through popular music. Here in rehearsal you see Seal, Chris Daughtry, Trisha Yearwood, and more. The Passion, hosted by Tyler Perry, airs live tonight, 8 p.m., 7 Central on Fox, from some of New Orleans' most iconic locations. Now, NASCAR has invited the driver and crew chief of the 5 to the hauler for a discussion post-race about what just happened here. Crew chief and spotter, rather, to the hauler.
I mean, that's just I think Casey, in his defense, I would say he thought he was going to duck in behind her, but he just didn't time it right, apparently.
Yeah, and you have to understand that that turn is starting to come up, and you're going to work your way back up to the outer lane before you turn into the corner. So I think that's what Danica was thinking. I'm going to come up.
Now here's Kevin Harvick and his team, part of the same ownership group as Danica's car.
Holy wow, I just saw the replay over here. Yikes. Yeah, I'm just sitting here in awe. Like, that's one thing from the first day I started racing I don't put up with. That's just stupid.
Crew Chief Rodney Childers weighing in.
That was avoidable. It was definitely avoidable.
Definitely, I agree with that, DW. And I thought Danica brought up an interesting point about Casey was a lap down.
Yes.
The 2016 Toyota Camry XSE leads the field through turn 4. Brian Scott got the free pass, and getting back on the lead lap with the wave around, Paul Menard, Trevor Bayne, and Cole Witt. It'll be 70 laps to go, and they get to the line. We're back under green.
Martin Truex not having anything from Kevin Harvick. He's got to that quarter panel on the right rear and maintained that lead off of turn 2.
That 78 really took off well on that restart and was able to get the lead and maintain it. That's pretty impressive.
He's had a fast race car all day. Just hasn't been able to get into this position to control the restart and control the lead.
A lot of 3 wide, 4 wide behind them as everybody stopped at lap 124 for fresh tires, and now they're trying to get all they can get.
Brad Keselowski diving down to the bottom, make it 3 wide.
One thing about the 4 car, Jeff, we noticed even in the last run, he's not too good for a couple of 3 laps, but when they run about 5 or 10, he really gets going. Kevin Harvick in the 4.
Kyle Busch in 6th, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin. Now on that round of pit stops, Carl Edwards too fast in segment 3 of pit road, so he had to restart in the back.
I think we've had more pit roads problems today, penalties and speeding penalties, than I think we've had in all the other races put together.
Jamie?
And Carl Edwards took total blame for that. He was caught going 60.44 miles per hour. He said, that was all me, guys. I pushed the limit, and sometimes it's going to happen. Let's fight our way back.
Well, between him and Keselowski, I think they're going to pass more cars than anybody today.
Now segment 3, he was exiting the pit, trying to stay even with another car coming out, and got busted.
Yeah, I actually saw him racing with Jimmy Johnson,
right,
thinking that maybe that was going to be for the lead.
Came a high-low off turn 4. Truex on the bottom, Harvick up top.
I really think all that 78 needed to do what he's doing was clean air, get out front. We've seen the leader be able to pretty well dictate the pace, and right now the 78 is able to do that over Kevin Harvick. I heard Greg Biffle go by a little bit ago, Mike, and the engine was really flat, as if it's down on a cylinder. And we're hearing maybe there's some smoke coming from that car.
Yeah, he's the last car on the lead lap. There goes Joey Logano, moving past Kyle Busch up into 5th place. Well, how are our comic book heroes doing?
Whoa, they're getting closer together.
Yes. There's your Superman Batman hero tracker. 3rd for Jimmy Johnson, 12th, and on the rebound for Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah, I think the 88 kind of doing what they did last week, Mike. He didn't qualify well, but in the race he kept working on the car and got it pretty good by the end of the race last week. Looks the same today.
Now Junior just ran his fastest lap of the day. Let's get a nationwide Dale Jr. performance update.
Mike, it has taken 124 laps, but Junior's finally in the ballpark. But what a journey it's taken to get there. They pushed in spring rubbers. They pulled out spring rubbers. They changed the shock. They fixed body work, just trying to get the balance more to his liking. He would love to be able to run that lane right next to the wall. That's where he was having the most speed during practice. He just hasn't been able to do it. But the car, he said, is turning so much better. He didn't need a big adjustment on the last stop.
Mike, one of the things, we didn't have a lot of practice. And one of the things I think it really hurt the 88 bunch is they missed a bunch of the first practice working on the steering in the car. The steering was binding up, and they spent most of their practice trying to diagnose that problem.
High-low again for the lead.
This is what I love about this racetrack here at Auto Club Speedway. That high line that gives you all this momentum, like Kevin Harvick right here, getting to his quarter panel and going to side draft him. See if he can complete the pass going into 1. He will.
You know what he made that pass at? 205.
Wow.
Off into turn one, side by side at 205 miles an hour.
This may not be over.
Yeah, it's not over.
And a little drag race down the back here. Harvick likes that outside. The 78 likes the inside. They should be happy.
And I know Martin Truex Jr. likes to run that bottom lane down here in 3 and 4. But I think at some point in the race, he's going to have to figure out that top lane, because other than that, I think he has the best race car out there on the racetrack.
But he couldn't clear the front of Harvick's car, and Harvick came off turn 4 like that stretched out rubber band. Wow.
Too much momentum. From that high line, you just get such a run off that corner, and it gives you that great straightaway speed. It's hard to pull up in front of a guy when you're on the bottom.
Now that has brought Jimmy Johnson into play in this battle for the lead. And at 5th place, behind Kyle Busch, Joey Logano battles Matt Kenseth.
Now, see, he could have slid up in front of Matt Kenseth right there and created a bit of an issue. Instead, he chose to stay down low, and maybe it's because he knows
are you sure that you want to slide up in front of him?
Probably not the guy you want to do that to.
Yeah, that's no comic book story there.
Yeah.
No.
Those two just genuinely have had issues.
And they're getting ready to have some more. I mean, I'm not so sure they didn't touch.
And now Denny Hamlin's going to split them? No.
Hamlin says, help's on the way, teammate.
Wow.
This is intense, man.
Now Hamlin's a driver who had issues at the start of the race, had a tire problem, then lost his radio, and now he's storming back into 6th place.
Well, Hamlin's got a good race car. He's just had some issues, but boy, it looked like they got those worked out, and he's coming on to the front. I don't think this little 20-22 battle is decided yet.
Nope. Joey Logano on the outside of the 11 of Hamlin.
You can get position on cars, but it's really hard to complete the pass. Even though there's a lot of room out there, it's completing that pass that gets really challenging.
And oh, by the way, Hamlin had issues here with Logano a couple of years ago.
Forgot about that. If I was Logano, I might back out of that little crowd. You boys go ahead.
How about Ricky Stenhouse, whose position matches his car number right now? He is the 3rd Ford in the race, Chris.
Yeah, and this team trying to bounce back after last week and that tire failure that they had. And I talked to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. this week, and he said, we put so much work into this team the last 2 years. We're about 90% there, but I keep telling the team that last 10%, it's probably going to be more work than the first 90%. They've got pretty good speed today, but he said after about 10 laps on the run, he said the car just getting way too tight for him.
Superman's looking on the inside here of Martin Truex Jr. Looks like he might be able to complete that pass. Kevin Harvick's a 41.03. The guys running behind him there are 41.20s and 30s. He's got 2 tenths safely in the bank over everybody.
Well, we'll find out here what kind of lap time Jimmy Johnson can make now that he's gotten clear of Martin Truex Jr. And you see Martin Truex Jr. working that outside lane. They're going to probably need to make a slight adjustment to make that top groove work as well as it's working for Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, I think Clayton Hughes is spotter for the 78 to Martin Truex. He's going to have to tell him. He's going to have to move around a little bit, buddy. They're beating you on that high line.
You can see how good he is down here in turns 1 and 2. I think he's the best car through 1 and 2. It's 3 and 4 he's got to figure out.
Yeah, and I think that high line is what you watch Harvick. I mean, he's right up against the fence, and he is flying through there. Martin says, well, I was low, but I can go a little lower if I need to.
But I love the fight he's got in him. I mean, he's not settling for anything. He wants that lead.
58 laps to go. Kevin Harvick has led 91 of the 142 so far.
The Auto Club 400 is sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads.
55 laps to go. Kevin Harvick's Chevrolet is out front. Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson are the only two drivers to win in their first start at Auto Club Speedway. For a limited time, switch to Sprint, save 50% on most Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile rates. Sprint, better for less. Nice to see the Goodyear blimp floating overhead, based in nearby Carson, California. They're providing our aerial coverage. Goodyear, superior performing tires to face challenging conditions on the track and on the road. The official tire of NASCAR. What a great sight over America's great sporting events. Yeah. Greg Biffle's car.
Leader's halfway down the back. Just hold the apron here.
It sounded off song and had a little bit of smoke, and now apparently it's done.
It is. Yeah, the thing sounded off.
Get the valve cover off on the right side there, Goodman.
You know, we don't know exactly what's going on. Obviously, something in the power plant. But this place is tough on engines. You, especially running that high lane, you get in the gas early, carry that all the way down these long straightaways. Yep. And boy, you need as much power as you can get here as well. So pretty tough on engines.
I think the thing that saves them here, maybe, Jeff, as much as anything, is how much the pace slows down. So you're not just hammering that thing, you know, hard all the way down the straightaway.
Look who's coming into the picture now. Kyle Busch.
I thought something was wrong with Martin Truex because Busch just blasted by him at the exit of turn 2.
That was a really impressive move there. I don't know if Martin Truex Jr. has lost a little bit of speed on this run and maybe an adjustment that they've made, but one thing's for sure, Kyle Busch has found some speed.
Yeah, I just think Martin Truex was leading this race, what, 5 or 6 laps ago, and now he's fallen back to 4th place. The car's fallen off a good bit in lap time.
Kevin Harvick up by 2.3 with 52 to go. It's Chevy Truck Month. Get to your Chevy dealer. Take home the 2016 Silverado 1500 from the fastest growing pickup brand, Chevrolet. Find new roads. Something wrong with Matt Kenseth, perhaps. Matt?
Mike, a possible issue has surfaced on the 20 of Matt Kenseth. A lap ago, he came on the radio and said, I believe I have a tire issue. Get ready. I'm possibly going to pit next time by. The guys are up on the wall waiting for him to hit pit road, Chris. Here he comes.
And Martin Truex Jr. starting to slide back a little bit. Just came over the radio. Whoa, a little bit of contact there with Joey Logano and into the wall.
Truex bouncing off the wall, but continues.
He just hit you.
Pretty big damage to the right rear.
Yeah, and Joey Logano just, I don't know if Martin Truex had to get out of the throttle, didn't do what Joey Logano thought he was going to do, but definitely ran into the back.
I'd like to see it again. I don't know if he actually touched him. He thinks he touched him, but it looked like he just took the air off of him.
I think they made contact. It looked pretty... Let's watch this, Jeff. See, I think they made contact. Going off into turn 1 here, probably over 200 miles an hour, and
I don't think he touched him. I think he just took the air off of him.
Maybe not. Got real close, got him loose.
Here's what Logano said.
Me to do that, I was trying to go to the top side on him. 10-4 hour, I'll put him in a minute. He's on a different stand.
Matt Kenseth has made his pit stop, but was too fast entering pit road, so he'll be back. Chris?
Well, Mike, before that contact, I was trying to tell you that Martin Truex Jr. saying his car was just getting a bit too loose. So a lot earlier in this run than previous runs. Now he's talking with his spotter, trying to ask him, can you tell me what kind of damage we have on the right rear? I definitely got on the wall pretty hard.
Well, I can tell you he got real loose when Joey Logano got behind him going into turn 1. And now with that damage to the right rear, it's only going to get looser from here.
Business is picking up in Southern California. Kevin Harvick leads by 2.7 as Martin Truex bounces off the wall and keeps digging.
and I think he just got you.
Well, this changes everything. Caution is out for debris. Jimmy Johnson had just made what might have been his final pit stop. Martin Truex and others on pit road.
But I think Johnson just passed Kevin Harvick here at the start line when the caution came out. I don't know, it was close.
I don't know. I think the caution came out a little bit before that, but it is going to be really close, DW.
Well,
they were side by side.
But either way, either Johnson's back on the lead lap or he gets the free pass.
Yeah, but there's a big difference in where you're going to line up.
That's right.
Big difference.
All right, let's ride with Kevin Harvick, and we'll watch for the yellow caution light.
There's the 48. So I think he was ahead of him.
Looks, yeah, oh, he definitely ahead of me.
That was huge for the 48
It
right
was.
there.
That was a big deal right there, man. He just barely got him. That looked
Well,
good.
that would be a break for Carl Edwards, because Edwards would then get the free pass unofficially. No,
88 gets a free pass.
So I think that's going to give the 48 the lead here, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, now he'll be in the same boat. Yeah, you're going to be in the same boat the 4 was. We'll see how that works out.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. confirmed as the free pass.
Okay. Well, he did come down right behind the 48 down pit road.
Right.
So he was just behind the 4 car. So when the caution came out, he was 1 lap down. He gets the free pass.
Martin Truex too fast entering the pits.
Dadgum.
Do I hear a siren? I think I did.
That's a crew chief screaming.
Let's have a look at our KFC heat map and get a better look at temperature changes throughout the day on the racing surface. This was on the opening pace laps. The temperatures are relative. Yellow, orange, red. Red, of course, is hotter. Here we are about 41 laps into the race.
Well, what's interesting about this is lap, what, 78 now? You know, typically, we've seen this at other tracks where we've shown this, all the cars are sort of in one line and using one groove, and that groove heats up, where here they're spread out all over the track and sort of pretty much spreads out the temperature as well.
Yeah, and I think the sun is shining, you know, it's setting over here, shining down on turn 1 and 2, not so much on 3 and 4.
All right, caution out. Let's get some audio from Jimmy Johnson and team.
Save your stuff here. Save your stuff. Save gas, save gas, save gas. Make sure you save it, bud. It's really important right now. We're about a lap shy.
Guys, I think what Chad Knaus and Jimmy Johnson did, the minute they felt like their window opened to make it to the end, when they pitted at 153 with 47 to go, they hit pit road. And yeah, they're going to have the lead of the race. They're going to have about a lap and a half on their tires, but everyone, including who pits now, can make it to the end of the race without stopping.
Now, I had mentioned Carl Edwards. Apparently, he was ahead of the race leader, and he's going to go back on the lead lap and come around as the leaders pit. Chris?
Well, Kyle Busch trying to keep that string of top 5 finishes alive. The only driver to finish in the top 5 the first 4 races of this year. And that car so loose early in this race. But he said right now takeoff speed is really good. Another fine adjustment on this stop, because about after 15 laps, the car starts to get a little bit loose halfway through. Matt?
Rodney Childers told Kevin Harvick the 48 did get in front, but he's got a lap and a half of hard racing on those tires. Pack the fuel cell full of fuel on the 4 was the call. Meanwhile, Joey Logano, he just needs to turn better through the center. And a nice recovery by the 11 of Denny Hamlin from that pit road speeding issue and the radio. His car 2-3 needs to be tightened up.
Wow, crunch time at the exit of pit road.
I think there was contact down there between the 18 and someone.
Denny Hamlin. First one off pit road with Joey Logano, but they were side by side with Brad Keselowski.
It was wild coming out of there.
Yeah. So let's have a look at the race off pit road as we are under caution for the 5th time today. Under caution in California with 42 laps to go. Here's how the Coca-Cola family of drivers are faring in today's race. Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano side by side coming off pit road. Ryan Newman, Austin Dillon. Fifth caution of the day, this one for debris. Austin Dillon, the pole sitter, now in 11th, and Danica Patrick crashed after contact from Casey Kane. She and Kyle Larson in the garage, as is Greg Biffle. As we get set for a restart. Larry, 42 laps to go. The way we've seen tire wear today, how confident are you that we're not going to be back on pit road again?
Well, I think if you've got a good handling car, and we've seen no issues out of guys like Jimmy Johnson in that group that's up there near the front, you know, I think you feel pretty good about it. But it all depends on how aggressive you are with those left side air pressures, Mike.
One to go. Here's your Busch race summary. With 42 to go there, Jimmy Johnson, the first of 31 cars on the lead lap, as you see cars taking the wave around. 5 cautions for 27 laps. 2 hard crashes, as we've mentioned, Kyle Larson and Danica Patrick. Harvick has locked up leading the most laps for today. And the last 5 races here that went the full distance, the driver who led the most laps won only one of those 5. Kyle Busch.
And Mike, when we have these restarts here with 40 laps to go, it gets crazy. This track, it's going to be a crazy restart because everybody's trying to get all they can right now.
If it's the last restart,
oh yeah, this one's going to be
Larry
good.
Mack.
Yeah, it may be a little early to do my trends of the race, but when I look at the last 4 to 5 races here in the spring, our last caution flag came at lap 197 with 3 to go. The last 2 years we went into overtime. If you don't think fresh tires are good on the last restart, just ask Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, good point, Larry. It paid off for him. That's for Dega, I'm sure.
They'll take the green with 40 to go. Johnson, Edwards on the front row. Hamlin, Logano, Keselowski, Harvick, Kyle Busch, Newman, Elliott, Vickers are the top 10.
Yeah, 3 of those guys up front all had pit road speeding penalties, the 19, the 11, and the 2.
Green flag.
Get ready to watch them fan out here. Making me crazy. Oof. Man, these restarts are wild. Comes Harvick with the run on the outside. Might get to the outside of the 22. Doesn't quite get there.
And they pack up 3 and 4 wide behind him.
Made a nice restart, Kevin did, in the 4 car.
3, got the 14 on your bumper.
Nice bounce back to the front for Carl Edwards. He and Harvick came in here as co-favorites for this race today. Close as they're side by side for the lead. That lap hits the 19 of Edwards.
Unlike last week, he won that race. A little ways to go yet, though.
And Johnson powers around the outside.
And we saw a lot of this earlier in the race with Carl Edwards. He's really strong in these restarts. He's good on the bottom. Jimmy's giving him the bottom. But we haven't had one come out on top yet. But don't forget, Logano's right behind you.
Tell you, Logano has been really aggressive on these restarts and in the early stage of those reruns or these runs here.
What a great 3-car battle side by side, Toyota, Chevy, and Ford. Jamie.
Jimmy Johnson, the leader right now, under caution. You heard the radio check announced that they were 1 lap short. Well, after that caution, they're saying we're 1 lap to the good. Go for it.
Here's Logano going for the lead.
I tell you, Logano's been aggressive on this restart. He's been all over the place, high, low, and now he's fighting for the lead.
Look who's coming right behind him, though. Kevin Harvick got around Carl Edwards.
There are going to be 6 cars under a blanket.
Here comes the momentum off the top. Watch this. He's going to make a run on all of them. Oh!
Was there
contact? Oh, definitely. He ran in the back of Logano. I think he thought Carl Edwards was still inside. But look at Brad Keselowski go up the middle.
This is incredible. Wow.
Slicing to the bottom.
Johnson goes to the bottom.
Harvick has this top groove working off the corner, though, right here. Gets his big run.
Logano went to the bottom on Johnson.
Yeah, pass for the lead. Look at the two of Brad Keselowski get loose. Going to allow Harvick to get a run on the inside.
Look at that run down the back off turn 2. What a head of steam he's got. Kevin Harvick's going for the, who's he trying to get around there? Jimmy Johnson.
Harvick went outside in turn 2, dropped to the bottom.
Oh, he's going to slide
back
right
to the top, second place. He restarted 6th. He's up to 2nd.
It's going to be hard to deny him.
Don't forget, Jimmy Johnson's tires are a little bit older. Remember that last?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I remember exactly what happened.
Shoes on the other foot now. The winged foot.
And I feel the same way now about Jimmy Johnson as I did about Kevin Harvick. He'll maintain. He'll be all right. But he's going to lose a little bit here at the beginning.
Boy, it's amazing the draft you get here. With this little spoiler on the back, you get such a straightaway. You get such a burst down the straightaway.
Edwards fading just a little bit. Here comes Kyle Busch.
And remember, Carl Edwards is in the exact same situation as Jimmy Johnson was. Maybe, lap and a half or 2 laps on his tires on that restart.
Here comes Harvick. He got that run off top turn 4 there. Close up on the back bumper of that 22 car.
But he wants the top, not the bottom here. Here he goes.
Oh, and this is where Joey Logano's really got to pay attention to his mirror.
Oh, here he comes.
He's got to have work those lines. He's got to work that mirror.
Gonna have to block him.
Harvick's going to get a run here. I don't think Harvick really wants to go to the inside.
I don't
he really
either.
wants that outside.
No. I think Harvick's right where he wants to be.
Now right there, that getting down the apron, it allowed him to get side by side, but it also made him use up those left side tires just a little more than he probably prefers to do.
Now he'll want to get back to the top for turns 1 and 2.
He's going to say, this goes, who's the bravest? Who can drive it in the deepest and hang on to it?
There you go.
207. 207 into turn 1.
He's going to give him a little nudge
give him a
here.
shot. Give him a shot.
He's like, hey, I got quite a bit faster race car than you do right now. I want to get the lead.
And Logano says, prove it.
That's right.
Hey, Logano isn't going to quit. We know what he'll do here.
Of the top 6, and they're all coming back to the leaders again. Logano's the only one of those top 6 without a win here.
Harvick's going to clear him this time off turn 4. I think he's going to be able to make the pass.
Just goes to show you how good that race car is of Kevin Harvick's and how good he is.
Look at right behind him. They're 3-4 wide for 3rd place.
You literally play chicken going off in the corner.
Coming to your quarter.
Who's going to lift first?
Now just 2 wide with the 2. Kyle's behind, 2nd lane, 2 still out there.
Look at that little crowd right there. 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
And this time Johnson went top to bottom.
He had
turn 2.
Yeah, he had a big run on the outside coming on the 2 of Brad Keselowski, and Keselowski got real loose, and he dove down 3 wide to the bottom of all of them. Oh. Jimmy wanted to slide up in front of Brad.
He thought about it.
Got better of it. And here comes the rookie.
Oh, and look, here's Chase.
Chase Elliott making a big move there.
He just dove down in front of Johnson.
Yep, and there came Elliott.
And this is where those tires will really start to catch up with you. The more that you get further back in traffic, the more those tires are going to have a big role in your speed.
Yeah, you just lose grip. It's overall grip.
3 of those Gibbs Toyotas in the top 10. Coming around to 31 laps to go. 6 cars battle for the lead. Don't go away. We won't either. Kevin Harvick crosses the line with 28 laps to go as you watch from the Goodyear blimp. Goodyear, superior performing tires to face challenging conditions on the track and on the road. Goodyear, official tire of NASCAR. Harvick has opened up a 1-second lead on Joey Logano. Carl Edwards another 0.4 back. Kyle Busch 2.2 back of the leader. Then Chase Elliott, Brad Keselowski, and this battle, Denny Hamlin taking it to Jimmy Johnson for 7th.
Yeah, you know, those tires are just really starting to play a toll on Jimmy Johnson's performance here, and he kind of fell back in the clutches of some others. And I mean, he's running some decent lap times, and Denny's, you've got a really strong car as well. I tell you, the car I want to see up there on a restart here towards the end, Chase Elliott. He's super fast right now. He's really working that high line as good or better than anybody, or maybe straddling that second seam down there as good or better than anybody out there.
I think he's found him a little groove, Jeff. He doesn't get all the way up against the wall like Harvick does. He kind of, like you said, straddles that streak right there. It seems to really work for him.
The last 10 laps, he's been the best car on the racetrack in turns 3 and 4. Made some bold moves. Currently 5th. Carl Edwards trying to get back to the front, challenging second place Joey Logano.
A crossover move by Carl Edwards. Can he clear him, though?
I think he might be able to, yes.
Let's look at this 4 car now.
In 2 weeks, we go from one of NASCAR's fastest tracks to its smallest. We'll be at Martinsville, Virginia on FS1. 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Jamie?
Crew Chief Dave Rogers for Carl Edwards told me last week was the best executed race they've had. They're doing that again. Remember, 2 restarts ago, he restarted 28th. Now he's running 2nd. However, they are keeping an eye on the tires and the tire wear. Last run, they had cording on him, and 2 runs before that, they had cording as well.
The cars that are 1st and 2nd, Harvick and Edwards, ended last week's race 1/100th of a second apart.
And I tell you, I think that Carl is going to be able to chase Kevin down. I know Kevin is awesome right now, and I think he's, like we've said earlier, minding that little gap right there. But that 19 car is pretty fast.
Well, and nobody's more motivated than Carl Edwards is after what happened in that final corner, getting to the finish last week in Phoenix.
I said he wanted to avenge himself today. I think he may be able to do it if he keeps going like he is.
Well, you know what goes with mind the gap. Keep calm and carry on.
Carl's pretty good about doing that.
See the 18 of Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott in the 24. They're getting ready to eat up the 22 of Joey Logano.
Yeah, that time by, Jeff, Chase Elliott was the fastest car, 41.42 to 41.6 for Harvick. So Chase is definitely fast.
Still 30 cars on the lead lap, all the way back to Matt DiBenedetto, one of 8 California drivers in this race, as we watch Kyle Busch and Joey Logano fight for 3rd.
Boy, and they are fighting too. Kyle had a run on him, but don't think he's going to be able to clear him and get back in line.
This might give that 24 car a big run here, though. They're side by side drafting. He closes up to him. He just can't get there to make the pass.
But he has made that move a couple of times where he dove down under people going down the front here to make the pass. He's driving pretty aggressively.
Chris?
Well, after Phoenix last week, Kyle Busch said if there's one thing that we could work on this year, it's our long run speed. We seem to tail off late in a run, and going into this race, he said we thought we made the adjustments we needed to in practice, but obviously the car did not work well those first 2 runs. Much better the second half of this race. It's just now in these last 23 laps, is he going to have that car stay underneath him?
Now we saw right there where Chase Elliott got underneath the 22, but his car's not working as good on the bottom lane. He really needs that top lane, and Joey knows it. Joey held him down there, and Chase tried to get to the outside, but just wasn't able to get his line and get the momentum to make the pass.
I think, you know, when you're a rookie like Chase Elliott, you drive the way he does, he's going to be cautious. I mean, he's made some moves that I thought were pretty impressive, but he's going to be cautious racing people like Joey Logano.
22 laps to go in the Auto Club 400 on Fox. We're going to keep it right here to the finish. Tonight on Fox, don't miss The Passion, a live musical event about the final days of Christ's life on earth told through popular music. Starring Trisha Yearwood, Chris Daughtry, Seal, and more. The Passion, hosted by Tyler Perry. 8 p.m., 7 Central tonight on Fox. At Auto Club Speedway, 18 laps to go. Kevin Harvick leads Carl Edwards by 1.7 seconds. Increased his lead a little bit that lap. Kyle Busch in third, 2 seconds back. Joey Logano, Chase Elliott fighting for fourth. Here is Kyle Busch's day. Whoa.
And that big dive, but he's overcome that and fighting for third place here with his teammate.
He's looking for his 9th straight top 5. Kyle Busch is. The last driver to run 9 straight top 5 finishes was 1998 when Jeff Gordon had 17 of them in a row.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Wow. You didn't tell me about that.
And I cut myself short on a Martinsville win.
Yeah, well, I added one, so we're even.
Second place, Carl Edwards, Kyle Busch.
Can everybody make it on fuel? Flat telling you, just ride it out here. We can all make it on fuel. Somebody's going to have a tire problem before then. Simple.
Carl in second, and that gap stands at about 1.5 seconds as he fends off Kyle Busch. Here comes the rookie, Chase Elliott.
Boy, Chase and Logano have been going back and forth, and Chase just cannot get this move made. Hopefully he can get it this time. I think he might need to slide up in front of him right here.
He's got such a Chase gets off turn 4 so good, and he's able to put that down on the inside.
There he goes. Finally got it done.
Oh, he'll go somewhere now.
Good job.
Top 3 ran identical laps 1 lap ago, 42.21.
I mean, how often does that happen this far into a run? That's incredible.
What makes Kevin Harvick real happy, and the other 2 guys that are running second and third, not so much.
So here's Kyle Busch.
Be all right here. Just focus on your exit at 2 versus him. That's where you're making your ground up.
Not exactly sure what that frustration was with Kyle. I don't know if it was the frustration that he couldn't complete the pass on his teammate Carl Edwards, or was it once he got in front of him, he made a mistake and didn't feel that he was reeling in Kevin Harvick as much as he wanted to.
I think that's it, Jeff, because he gave up 3/10 to where Edwards was behind Harvick. Now Kyle is, and he's fading just a little, 1.9 back.
I think that was a growl.
He's running the exact same line.
I think he's after him.
14 to go.
And I tell you, when you're running as close to the wall as the 4, the 18, all these guys are running right up, just inches off that wall. Drive it in a little too hard, get it a little loose off the corner, and there goes your race.
Yesterday, Kyle Busch had victory in sight, cut down a tire on the last lap of the race. No caution flag, ended up second to Austin Dillon. Was very unhappy about it. Thought he had victory in the bag.
I don't think it's time to really push it right now, but Kevin Harvick last time by ran a 41.65. Kyle Busch ran a 42.05.
I know Larry loves his trends. Here's one for you. The last 3 races here ended with a last lap pass. And who won 2 of those 3? The man who's in second place right now, Kyle Busch.
And remember, he didn't race here last year. He was injured for this race last year.
And then there's Kevin Harvick, who has led the most laps here today. Harvick has won only 2 of the last 10 races in which he has led the most laps.
You know who? You know that. Our statisticians know that, and Kevin Harvick knows that.
Well, and he's hoping to change one of those stats here today, make it 3.
This is when you're 10 to, well, there's 12 to go. You're sitting here now. What can go wrong? I've got this if nothing happens.
Isn't that what Kyle said yesterday?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that was on the white flag.
That's right.
That was one of the wildest finishes I've ever seen, and we've seen a lot of wild finishes here at this speedway in the past, but also this year in the Cup Series. Man, we've seen some wild stuff. I think something came up and hit our camera on top of Brian Vickers' car. I'm pretty sure that car's not riding quite that rough.
He's chasing.
The hood's going to come off of it.
He's chasing Ryan Newman. I thought Newman would have a really good day today. Really ran well in practice and qualified well as Chase Elliott draws a bead on Carl Edwards for third.
Did you give Chase a little pep talk this morning, buddy?
Oh, man, he doesn't need any pep talk. What a talent. Great job by that team.
He gets that run off turn 4. This is where he's really been good. Off turn 4.
All clear, all clear, still clear, working the top, still clear by 1, still.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's Eddie DeHaan, who spotted for you before
he sure did. Great
taking over with Chase Elliott.
And I think it's important to have experience surrounding a rookie. And you've got an experienced crew chief in Alan Gustafson. You've got an experienced spotter in Eddie. And, I mean, if we look at how well this team has run and how well Chase Elliott has run his performance, it's been impressive this year. Now, the results don't always show that.
Jamie, what about Carl Edwards right now?
Well, it was ironic. It was his crew chief that said somebody's going to have a tire problem before this is over. Well, Carl just told his team, my rear tires are gone, guys, so the team is ready just in case he decides to bring it in here in the closing laps.
10 to go. Denny Hamlin.
Boy, 10 to go. Well, and you have you just got to hang on. You got, if at all possible, you got to hang on.
Well, regardless whether he has an actual tire problem, he's lost a lot of speed. He certainly lost a lot of grip.
Yeah, he has.
His last lap was a second slower than Harvick's, and now
he's just trying to hold on to the end, I believe.
I think that's all you can do. You pit now, you're going to finish 21st. If you ride it out, you probably get a top 10.
Well, here's 10th. Pole sitter Austin Dillon battling Ricky Stenhouse. Whoa, loosened him right up there.
Boy, that was tight.
No, Stenhouse likes that. That's his kind of driving.
Yeah,
they
but
get that thing sideways.
17 took a little air off the 3 car trying to pass him, and then as the 3 went by his left rear, loosened up the 17.
Hamlin continues to move forward, now 5th place. Nice recovery from where he started the day.
Yeah, to have all those radio issues and everything else. And they were actually talking about early in the race taking that car to the garage if they couldn't get the radios fixed.
Radio trouble, speeding penalty, tire issue. Hamlin has come right back to be a contender here. Kevin Harvick up by 2.4 seconds is his lead with 8 to go.
We must be close on gas, huh?
Was that Harvick? It sounded like Harvick.
I
think he was asking Rodney Childers, his crew chief, were they close on gas?
Nice run here for Casey Mears and Brian Scott, both on the lead lap, running 15th, 16th.
Especially after Casey Mears was on pit road one time, and we saw him, I think they got the fire extinguishers out for something that was on fire.
You're right. What's going on with Carl, Jamie?
And he continues to fall back. He just told the team the left rear is falling apart. They're ready, but he said he's just going to try to limp it around to the finish, Matt.
Kevin Harvick inquired whether he was close on fuel. Rodney Childers told him that they are actually 2 laps to the good.
That's just, I'm telling you, when you get inside of 10 laps, you got a car like Kevin's had all day. Am I good on fuel? Are my tires going to make it? Is everything going to hold up here? Am I going to be able to win this race?
Now, Ricky Stenhouse won that battle with Austin Dillon for 10th, and now he takes 9th from A.J. Allmendinger.
Great run by Ricky Stenhouse Jr. We've seen that Roush Fenway Racing has picked up the performance of this car in qualifying. We haven't always seen it show up in the race, and today we are.
Let me tell you, that Ricky Stenhouse, he's a good driver. He is a good race car driver.
Martin Truex back on pit road. He had gone a lap down and now makes a stop for tires with just a handful of laps to go. Chris?
Well, Ricky Stenhouse told me this week that we still don't have the speed that we want out of the cars, but the one thing we've been focusing on is race ability, and that's what we're seeing late in the run here. He's actually got something he can work with 6 to go.
He is in 9th, but he's about 3.5 behind Brad Keselowski, the 8th place car.
Well, did you see that slide job that Austin Dillon put on A.J. Allmendinger? He just drove it deep down in the corner, and all the grip's out of these tires right now, and he slid all the way to the wall.
Austin Dillon, who won yesterday's Xfinity race, has been driving like a driver who is ready to win one soon.
I agree with you, but right now, Mike, the lap times have slowed. This is the slowest. We got a car up against the wall, turn 3 and 4.
Blaney.
It's Blaney. I think he's going to make it to pit road. I think we're okay.
Car makes it down off the apron in 4, and we are staying green. 5 to go is being shown to the field as Ryan Blaney makes it onto pit road after contact with the outside wall. There's the damage. He was running 13th, and there he is into the wall. But we stay green.
Yep.
Now the question is, was that a tire or did he just get into the wall? Because what we've been seeing, and we saw a trend earlier in the race, when somebody had a tire problem, it wasn't long after that where we saw another one.
Jeff, we're running in the 43-second bracket now. This is the slowest pace of the day. This is the longest green flag run. Tires are worn out. Everybody's just hanging on.
4 to go. Earlier this week, Kevin Harvick went back to his hometown of Bakersfield, California, to dedicate a ballpark. His charitable foundation, along with the Cal Ripken Jr. Foundation, making that happen. So he had something to celebrate in his hometown. He may have something big to celebrate in his home state in about 3.5 more laps.
He loves the West Coast swing. Loves coming out here and winning races in front of his home crowd.
Won 2 out of 3 in the West last year. Trying to do it again.
3 to go.
See Carl Edwards still hanging tough in there, even though he thinks that left rear tire is about to come apart or he's worn it completely out. He's still battling with Brad Keselowski here.
Yeah, I think he's going to be okay. I think he just had to do what he's doing. You can't pit now, buddy.
Oh, another one in the wall in turn 3.
That one's pretty hard. I think that's Chris Buescher.
I think he's going to get down, though, just like the 21 did. He's coming down.
Oh, it's Kyle Busch.
Sorry, 18.
Coming down. He's going to get on pit road.
No.
Caution.
Caution's out. Wow.
I will be.
18 blue tire or something.
Caution with 2 laps to go. We're going to overtime.
Same thing happened to that car yesterday. Right front. Yesterday it was left front.
You got to believe that he stayed out just hoping that that caution would come out. He knew this was going to ruin his day. If he can stay on the lead lap here, not tear up that right front fender and get some tires on him, he'll stay on the lead lap and make some moves here on this final restart.
Hey, guess what, guys?
We're going to overtime.
A little overtime, baby. What are you going to do now? You going to come get 4 or are you going to stay out?
Oh, you got to get 4 tires. Come on, Larry.
Give me 4
work with me.
tires and 2 to 3 lug nuts per wheel.
I'm with you, pal.
This is going
Can you
to
believe
be
this?
wild.
2 days in a row, Kyle Busch comes within a couple of laps of the checkered flag, and it's all torn apart.
You know what I
believe it.
You know what I do?
Yesterday he finished second though.
Yeah, not today.
Without only on 3 tires.
You know what I'd do, boys? I'd get me 2 tires. Just like Carl did last week.
You can go ahead and get you 2.
I'm just saying.
You do
By the
that.
way,
I'm just
DW, you're on
saying.
your island by yourself right here.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to see whatever. I'm going to get me 2 tires.
Well, it looks like Kyle Busch's streak of 8 straight top 5s is going to fall today.
Well, he's going for 4 wins in a row yesterday in the Xfinity Series. That fell on the last lap, and today we got this.
Now, what I will say, DW, I do think some should take 2 tires. Some have nothing to lose.
I agree.
And everything to gain. Why not take 2 tires?
25 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah.
Including Kyle Busch. He's still on the lead lap. Now, new rules this year. There's the overtime line on the back straightaway. Almost halfway down the backstretch. Now, once they get the green flag, if the leader reaches that line and we are still under green, the next flag would end the race.
Boy.
If the leader is not to that line before under green and the caution comes out, we'll re-rack and we'll try it again and again if necessary and again. Pit road's open. Kevin Harvick leads him in. Jamie.
Carl Edwards happy to see this. He wants to get a fresh set of tires. They weren't going to fuel, but they decided they're going to for Carl Edwards to see what they can do here in the final laps. Matt?
15 times since joining Stewart-Haas Racing, Kevin Harvick has led the most laps and not gone on to win. He's hoping not to see that. Add another one today. 4 tires for him. Chase Elliott, epic day for him. He's looking to pay it off. And then look at Denny Hamlin, another nice recovery. Remember, we talked about at the top of the show how he has had a bad streak here of the last 4 races, trying to end that. And Joey Logano trying to make it 3 drivers out of the captain's stable who've gone to victory lane here at the track he built.
That's the money stop, and here they come. The Advanced Auto Parts race off pit road. Advantage, Hamlin.
Where are the gamblers at?
All those 4 tire stops.
Hard to gamble when all the tires are falling apart.
No, I
Boy,
tell you,
Hamlin by a wide margin. Then Kevin Harvick and Jimmy Johnson. Chase Elliott lost a bunch of positions on that stop.
I only got to make it from this start-finish line to that overtime line. If I could get to there, I would have gambled.
Class, let's review. We've had two incredibly close finishes this season, Daytona and Phoenix.
Well, last week no tires won and beat 2 tires, so I thought we'd see that today, but I guess not.
And we are in overtime.
DW, I think if they hadn't gone so far on that run,
probably
I mean, those tires were completely worn out.
I agree.
1/100th of a second. First at Daytona, Denny Hamlin beating Martin Truex to open the season. And last week in Phoenix, a fender flailing finish. Happy Harvick over Carl Edwards. And the two drivers that won those two close finishes will line up on the front row for this restart.
Yeah, baby.
This is going to be so wild.
Oh, this is going to be epic.
Matt Kenseth had an uncontrolled tire on his stop, so he'll restart at the back. Trevor Bayne is the free pass car, and Kyle Busch is back in.
Now, have we gone into overtime? I mean, true overtime. Have we had a restart after? I know we're in overtime now, but I'm not. Did they go extra?
No.
We haven't not made it to the line, is my point,
on the
back
first
straightaway.
try.
On the first try.
Yeah. Correct. All right, let's get a race recap from the Hollywood Hotel.
Yeah, Mike, and for Denny Hamlin, first time he has led today. We have had 24 lead changes. Let's go back to the mishap with Kyle Larson because of a tire scary moment. Airborne over 180 miles per hour into the safer barrier, but he was okay out of the race. Casey Kane, who was a lap down, gets into Danica Patrick, Michael.
Yeah, there's no excuse for that. It looked like he just dove down there and ran into Danica. I don't know what led up to that, but it's certainly frustration on her part. Nothing she did wrong.
And she was upset about it. His crew chief and spotter called to the hauler by NASCAR afterwards. 64 laps to go. Harvick taking the lead back at this point for the 7th time, going over 205 miles per hour. And then with about 35 laps to go, Harvick battling with Joey Logano for the lead.
And that battle has been epic. Every time the tires get a few laps on him, Harvick certainly comes to the front. But listen, he doesn't have a few laps now. He's got to go in a hurry. I think that Denny Hamlin holds him off.
With the restart, you think Hamlin will win it?
Love it.
All right, that's the pick from Michael. Let's go back upstairs to Jeff, Darrell, and Mike.
The starter has one finger in the air and the yellow flag furled. That's the signal we are 1 to go for the first try at overtime.
Well, you know, if Kevin Harvick doesn't win this race, I mean, we just showed that stat before that caution came out about how many times he's led the most laps and not won. He's only won 2 of those 10 races. I mean, and I agree with Michael. I think Denny Hamlin has a really excellent shot at getting this done.
Well, the tires on the car right now are qualifying tires. I mean, the pressures are
they're
up to where they need to be. They don't have to worry about the pressures coming up. But when you have a guy that finished second, 15 times last year, he's pretty good at finishing second.
I'm going to say we don't get to the overtime line. You saw how crazy restarts are here. In the middle of this pack, a bunch of guys are going to get a run, and they're going to go into turn 1 5 wide. Are they going to make it out of turn 2?
I agree, Mike. I think there's a very good chance they don't make it to that line you're looking at right there, which is the overtime line. And if they don't, we'll do all this again.
Yeah, you know, the guy sitting in the catbird seat to me is a 48. He's sitting there third. The 4 and the 19 go off, or 4 and 11 go off the corner side by side. He takes the bottom and goes right by him.
The other thing is, it's the crucial part of this is who's pushing me. If I'm on the front row, if I'm Denny Hamlin, I want Joey Logano pushing me all the way down the front straightaway. If I'm Kevin Harvick, I want Jimmy Johnson pushing me.
Guys, I don't think that the 22 would be all that in favor of pushing the 11. Just think back a couple of years ago.
All right, Hamlin has elected the outside for the restart. We are coming to overtime 1, sponsored by Credit One Bank.
Those 2 cars on the outside were racing for the win here a couple of years ago.
2 by 2 for now. Green flag, we're in overtime.
Logano did not get a very good start behind the 11. That's going to give advantage to Kevin Harvick on the inside. He takes the lead, but he's got Jimmy Johnson going to make a move.
They're already 4 wide in the back.
Johnson really gave Kevin Harvick in the 4, gave him a great push, got him to the lead.
He's going to get to his quarter panel right here.
He's going to work him.
Look at this.
Hey, but here comes that 11. Watch Denny Hamlin going down the back.
25 lead lap cars. Something's got to give. Next flag ends the race. Yellow or checker.
Oh, he's going to get ahead of Harvick.
If he can clear him.
Jimmie Johnson's car is so strong on short runs, and he's so
on the restart. White flags in the air.
Now it's decision-making time down to 1 and 2. What lane do you take?
Harvick's been good off the top, off turn 2 over there.
Two California kids to battle it out.
Boy, Harvick got sideways. He was trying to get in the gas hard there. Lost a little bit of time to Jimmie Johnson.
Keselowski had to lift and lost 4 spots coming off turn 2.
So we're past the line. We're good.
Here they come. They are 3 wide in turn 3, but up front. Superman pulls away. The man of steel will score his 77th win. Jimmie Johnson to the flag. Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, and side by side for 5th, a photo finish between Ricky Stenhouse and Chase Elliott.
That pit stop, boys. That pit stop. We need stops like that all the time.
Wow.
6 times Jimmie Johnson has been a winner.
Right after all of this is done.
Here at Auto Club Speedway.
I think I just saw Earl Barban, the spotter, flying down off the top of the grandstand.
Nothing like winning at home. Thank you so much. And somebody get my damn cape.
Now he wants his cape. Didn't want to wear it for driver introductions,
exactly.
but he wants it now.
Here it is. Woohoo!
Well, Kevin Harvick just didn't have enough kryptonite. He has finished second to Jimmie Johnson in 8 of Jimmy's last 11 victories.
Just saying.
And 5th goes to Stenhouse in a photo finish.
The man, brother.
Over Chase Elliott. And Jimmie Johnson now goes to 7th in all-time NASCAR victories. Taking home the checkered flag, Jimmie Johnson's Sunoco fueling victories.
Amazing. Just amazing.
Boy, the fans are fired up there. This is a popular win out here in California. Great job by Jimmie Johnson. What an incredible display of that team's effort, that his talent.
Hear the theme?
I hear it.
I heard it.
That's amazing. That's so cool. Unfortunately, he didn't catch the checkered flag when they threw it to him.
Well, nobody else wants to hear that theme, but those guys do.
Let's go back and ride with Jimmie Johnson on that restart.
Give me that flag. Let me capture that thing.
And he's going to salute the fans.
I don't blame you, brother. That's a big win for you.
That's got to feel really good. Win number 77.
Man.
Here's the restart.
Nice little bump to Kevin Harvick.
He gave Harvick a great push.
But see, it got them both going. He got them both ahead of Denny Hamlin. Now it's just between the 2 of them. And look at this. He paints this white line. He hooks this white line. This is where he wins this race right now. He hooks the white line, gets back hard in the gas, and he's just ever so slightly going to get to his quarter panel, and watch him drag the 4 of Kevin Harvick back right there. That's side drafting.
Yeah, Kevin is not good on the bottom.
Nice.
And the 48 is really good on the bottom, and that was the difference.
Then it was all about getting back, painting that white line again, getting wide open again off of 4 and getting the lead.
Drive up in front of him and take her to the house.
The Southern California kid who started riding on dirt bikes now will ride to victory lane.
the site of his first career win in 2002. 6 championships later and a whole lot more wins. Jimmie Johnson in the 48 in overtime. We've had 3 overtime races in the first 5 of this NASCAR season. With Michael Waltrip, Chris Myers, heartbreak for Harvick, who led the most laps but wound up second. Jamie Little is standing by with Kevin.
Kevin Harvick led the most laps today, 142. You were the car to beat Kevin all the way to the end, but what happened on the final restart? How was the car?
Yeah, it was the worst it's taken off on the restarts, but we weren't very good on the restarts for 4 or 5 laps unless we were, all by ourselves. 48 was able to hang with us, and we just weren't able to drive it in like I needed to. Just didn't have the front tires turning and the back wouldn't grip. So still a good day for us, and just got to thank everybody from Jimmie Johnson, Busch, and we'll keep at it.
Thanks, Kevin.
14th time that Jimmie Johnson and Kevin Harvick have finished 1-2, and Jimmie Johnson has won the last 9.
And sometimes special athletes just do special things. Jimmie Johnson ran his fastest lap of the race on the last lap. He ran a 39.18. That was some 0.4 of a second better than anything he'd done all day long. He saved his best for last. We know the short run speed wasn't there for Harvick. It gave Johnson the chance to pounce.
Teammate Chase Elliott, who wound up 6th, the 20-year-old rookie, part of Hendrick Motorsports, going over to congratulate. Jimmie Johnson said earlier this year, kind of joking, he said, I thought, man, if I can win a race, they'll keep me around for a couple more years. I'll make a little money, then I'll go back to racing on dirt. Life will be good. And
don't you just love that? Is that the best attitude in the world?
He's always had that. From El Cajon, just a couple of hours from here, one of the 8 California drivers in this race, and his home track, you heard him on the radio say, hey, it's good to win at home. And he has won here more than any other driver, dominating at the Auto Club Speedway. And in just a bit, we'll join Jimmie Johnson for the celebration. How about Denny Hamlin getting his first lead as we hit overtime, and on the restart it had an effect as Superman, running the paint scheme for the movie, is getting his cape on, and Matt Yoakum is there to see the superhero celebrate.
2002 began a spectacular run here at the Auto Club Speedway. Superman does the dive. Incredible. 13 top 3 finishes. Your 6th win here. Walk us through that incredible restart and how you set up Harvick.
Oh, wait, hold on.
You got to adjust the cape. There we go.
Man, this is cool. First of all, I had my family at home. I can't wait to see you guys. I knew we had a great car, and that caution fell at a bad time the run before, and I just snapped the tires on the car to race with those guys. And to go there at the end and have good tires on the car, Harvick and I got by, I guess, Joey there at the start. And I got a great run off turn 2, and I thought, man, I got a shot at this thing, which I didn't expect to have. Harvick's been so fast, and I cleared him and kind of got away. So, we saved our best for last for sure. I told everybody Superman kicked Batman's butt, and it happened. But I'm very thankful for Lowe's and the amazing relationship we've had over the years. Chevrolet, everybody at Hendrick Motorsports, it's going to be a good time.
And this was your type of racetrack, slipping and sliding. What kind of statement does this send to the other competitors, knowing the package that we're competing with now and how well you've started the year?
I mean, it might send a statement. It's a long year, and we need to keep doing this all year long, especially late in the season. But right now, this Lowe's Chevrolet is awfully fast and a lot of fun to drive.
They didn't get a chance to celebrate win 76 very long because they're on to number 77. Chris Myers.
All right, thanks, Matt and Jimmy. So that's Jimmie Johnson's 3rd win in his last 8 races. He was winless in 20 races before that as we check the chase grid heading into the Easter break. Today, the first day of spring break. But these are your drivers, Jimmie Johnson, Harvick, Keselowski, Hamlin, that are in, and then you see the points the rest of the way. Jimmy further secures his position in the chase.
Yeah, and Carl Edwards, Kyle Busch, they've got the speed, Joey Logano, to be in the chase. After that, you better get a win because you could lose points in a hurry, as we saw with Ryan Blaney today up in the top 10 before we came here, drop back. But Chris, just think what Jimmy did right on that last restart. He had to gun that thing just perfectly to give the push to Harvick to get him ahead of Hamlin, cut to the bottom. It was just magic.
Yeah, let's hear from Hamlin. You have to note on that chase grid, I know it's early, but Chase Elliott, a rookie, right there, and Blaney right behind him, 16 at 17. So let's check in with Chris Neville.
Well, that never give up attitude from Denny Hamlin really paid off today. Denny, lots of challenges the first half of the race, but you come home 3rd.
Yeah, it's disappointing 3rd, I can tell you that, but
2 penalties, radio changes, just a lot of mistakes on my part early on, and gave ourselves a shot there at just the 22. For the one time he didn't get a good restart, we didn't have that push there, and it hurt us. I thought going early in the zone was probably the thing to do. Hindsight maybe later, but who knows? I mean, those two linked up on the bottom, and there's really nothing we could have done at that point. But thanks Sport Clips, Toyota, the Greenbrier, the Jordan brand, Coca-Cola, Toyota for everything they do. Good day, just not a great day.
Third in Phoenix, third in California.
You don't tug on Superman's cape, you don't spit in the wind, and you don't mess around with Jim, or Jimmy in this case. We'll have more in a moment. We welcome you back live, and here's a look at some of the behind-the-scenes footage from New Orleans as the cast is preparing for tonight's live special on Fox. Don't miss The Passion. It's a live musical event about the final days of Jesus Christ's life on earth as told through popular music, starring Trisha Yearwood, Chris Daughtry, Seal, and others. The Passion, tonight, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, coming up here on Fox. Let's head back upstairs. Some final thoughts from Jeff, Darrell, and Mike.
Top 5 for Roush Racing, Ricky Stenhouse. Top 10 for rookie Chase Elliott, A.J. Allmendinger. 12th place for rookie Brian Scott. A lot of drivers had a great day, but is anybody surprised that Superman beat Kryptonite Harvick for the win?
I didn't think anybody could beat Harvick.
No.
But boy, if anybody can do it, it's Jimmy Johnson, especially as Superman. And boy, what a super restart he got. On that final restart, he pushed Harvick out there perfectly. He got to the white line, hooked the white line, and made that big move down the back straightaway and into 3 to take the lead. 26 lead changes today. That is impressive. Great racing.
And Mike, if you're a numbers guy, last year Kevin Harvick finished second 13 times. He's finished second here the last 2 times, not counting today. So if you looked at the numbers and you looked at the results, you'd say Kevin Harvick probably finished second.
And as he did in the championship, made it to the final 4 just because of that. Let's hear from the 4th place finisher. Here's Jamie.
Well, Joey Logano had an eventful day today, brought it home 4th, and the one thing I think people remember is the bump with the 78. He came down and talked to you. What did you guys say? What's your take?
I mean, I got no excuse besides just, it's racing. I tried to go underneath him and fake that and then go back to the top. And, I think he was going to go to the top as well. And, we never touched, but I was right on him. And, when you're going that fast and you take the air off the spoilers, cars get uncontrollable. So I hate that I hurt his day for sure. And, I seen his right rear was all caved in. So that's not good. But, we had a decent car with our Auto Club Fusion. I thought we were
a third to fourth place car like the whole race, and that's where we ran the whole race. And I thought we had something at the end to try to go with the 11, try to push him, and then try to make a move in 1 and 2 on that last restart. Just unfortunately spun the tires and just couldn't get going after that.
Thanks, Joey.
Taking a look at the unofficial results here. And by the way, wrapping up NASCAR Goes West, even though Jimmie Johnson won this race, Harvick average finish of 3rd over the 3 West Coast. So for the 2nd year in a row, he's the best of the West.
You got to give a call to Chase Elliott. A strong run out west. He put himself in contention, and he was talking about maybe wins for that kid. Look at Landon Castle, Brian Scott, great runs in the top 20. Boyer got his season heading in the right direction. Another good sign.
Trevor Bayne winding up 20th. Matt Kenseth, who's been a 3-time winner here. Casey Kane had that problem with Danica Patrick. Kurt Busch, some early problems. There were a number of drivers that scraped the wall between the tire, the outside wall, and, of course, some great racing at the end. Once again, the Auto Club of 400 was an outstanding race, an outstanding finish.
Martin Truex Jr. just had a car so good, and he was so close to contending, gets bumped by Joey Logano. That takes your heart away, having so much chance for victory and not be able to get it. See how Martin rebounds from that.
Yeah, and so interesting that Denny Hamlin, right, gets to his first lead of the race as we go to overtime. Actually had a lot to do on the restart as Jimmie Johnson made his move to get around Kevin Harvick. And Jimmy, the winner. We'll have more from California in just a moment. If you want to know how the West was won, Jimmie Johnson sharing in that, edging out at least today Kevin Harvick, who was outstanding, and these two go back through the championships over some tough finishes, and it was Harvick who said the golden horseshoe that Jimmie Johnson has, we're going to remove that one day, and of course Harvick had his championship, but today was Jimmie Johnson's day. Not about luck.
No, he just drove that car. The great restart, he had to do that perfect. He was able to pull it off, and then he ran his fastest lap on the last lap of the race. Who does that? Only 6-time can pull that one off.
And an off week for Easter. And then Martinsville, you'll see that on FS1 with a 90-minute pre-race show. And we had the most competitive race there last spring. Denny Hamlin won that, but last fall, remember, that was the Joey Logano Kenseth incident. Jeff Gordon, our colleague, wound up winning that one.
Yeah, if we want to know how you win Martinsville, we'll ask Jeff. He's the last one to do it there. We'll have a great race in Martinsville.
We look forward to that. And coming up tonight on Fox, we've been talking about The Simpsons and then The Passion, the 2-hour special that's live on Victory Lane. Jimmie Johnson will join us. For Michael and the gang, I'm Chris Myers. Have a great Easter and spring break. Thanks for being a part of NASCAR on Fox.
Drivers, start your engines!
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go, California dreaming! The line just come up in front of us like that. Holy wow. He's a wrecker.
Superman pulls away the Man of Steel.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.